Welcome back to the Bourbon. I'm Steve Crane. I am joined by Nate Hale on the far, my left, your right. Got Dustin Bovey behind the mic. Welcome back to the garage, Dustin. He's not have a mic in front of him right now, so you can't hear him. But he says, "Thank you. I miss you all very much, and really happy to be here." That's what I heard. And we have Nook Mercer from CLE Asylum. And he's got his volume up, so you're going to be hearing me twice. A little bit of delay there.
There we go.
It's not his first time, believe it or not. Nook, welcome.
At least you get closed captions on there now, too.
You do get closed captions.
Nice.
It's nice, you know?
I like that.
Welcome.
Thank you. It was a long drive over here today, so.
Where'd you come from?
Traverse City, Michigan.
Nice.
Took a few days off, went up there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, yeah, got to come back to Columbus, knock this thing out, and glad to be here.
What I like about having Nook here, it was funny. So we had another rep actually lined up for tonight. And then they were talking behind the scenes during one of the podcasts during the chat.
The Sunday one.
The Sunday, yeah. And all of a sudden, Nook got involved in tonight's episode. And then Nook came in, I think it was like the next Wednesday or the following after that conversation, ready to be on the podcast. He's like, "Am I not on tonight? I don't know what week I'm supposed to be on." 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
He had the bottle and everything. He's like, "So we're good, right? Yeah. Is it tonight?" He's like, "I don't know." And he was like really honest. He's like, "I don't know if it is tonight or not." And it wasn't.
Came prepared.
And then the other guest actually had to reschedule. And of course I was like, "Nook, are you still good?" And he's like, "Yeah, man, I'm in Traverse City. I'll be driving down from Traverse City." So
nice.
Dedication.
Nice solid 7 hours and change to do that one. But we appreciate you. Was not sure. Originally I was just supposed to come here, hang out, be on the panel, and not feature any cigars.
And now look.
So had to go pick up some cigars today and kind of figure out what I wanted to talk about, I guess.
We'll figure it out. That's fine. That's what the shirt says. You know, pour one more, light up another. We'll figure this out together. That's exactly what we're doing tonight. Speaking of which, let's talk about the sponsors here real quick. Patreon.com/Bourbon&BS podcast. We had our first raffle winner. I'm going to the post office tomorrow. So Sean Hurley won the 2 rocks glasses, the H. Upman rocks glasses that have the holder. That's from our sponsor, Altidus, through Patreon.com. That's going to be something we're going to be doing every month, if not more often here going forward. So congratulations, Sean. You can do Patreon.com/Bourbon&BS podcast. There's a $5 tier, a $10 tier, and a $25 tier, but you can do whatever you want one time, multiple times. We appreciate the support. It helps us keep doing this and getting people like Nook on here and having you guys contribute to the conversation. So love having you guys part of that Patreon. And like I said, we have T-shirts that are going to be coming back out in 2021 for some of you guys that are helping us out there. So I do appreciate that. And then also Tinderbox at Easton in Columbus, Ohio, kind of the hub of this whole podcast and the Bourbon and BS community. So we appreciate Tinderbox at Easton. I do have this kind of by way of that. We have these, what are these cigars here again? The Asylum 13.
Yeah, it's the new Martes 13.
Martes 13. That's not the featured cigar tonight, but it is something we're going to touch on as well. So that's through Tinderbox at Easton. And also they normally provide the weekly featured cigar. So we appreciate the support there. Also, Altidus USA, I mentioned them already. Josh Bentley with Altidus USA has been a huge supporter and sponsor of the podcast. So we appreciate his and Altidus is that the right Altidus is? Altidai?
I like Altidai.
I don't think that's right, but I mean,
I do like it. It's got a nice ring to it.
And their Altidus USA's support. Appreciate that. They usually give the weekly second cigar as well as a sponsorship. So we appreciate it. I got some Monte Cristo White Series for the second cigar, but it looks like we have a lot of cigars here as well. So we'll see what happens. And then BS Cigar Company, I got a gold over here. Those are gold and silver are in stock at Tinderbox at Easton, exclusively through that sponsor, Tinderbox at Easton in Columbus, Ohio. So you can order those, stop by, grab some, the gold and silver by way of Placencia factories for the gold, and then also the La Zona factory, which is Eric Espinosa for the silver. So appreciate you guys. And with that, we are smoking a brand new one tonight, the CLE 25th anniversary. And Nook will get into this a little bit, but it is commemorating Christian Eiroa's 25 years.
25 years in business.
I can't believe it's 25 because I'm still enjoying the 20th anniversary.
Yeah.
and the 20th Colorado, which came afterwards,
Yes,
and
sir.
the Connecticut, right? No,
No, we had
wasn't there a third one?
No, you just did increments of 5 so far.
All right. No. I'm saying like
Make
the
sure you're
20th.
talking to the mic.
The 20th.
Yeah, we just did the
First 20 was just the Maduro.
Maduro and the Colorado.
Could have sworn there was a Connecticut.
We do the CLE Connecticut,
I know that.
which you can pick that up at
Tinderbox at Easton or your
Tinderbox
local brick
at
and mortar. But yeah, so that's the cigar we're gonna be smoking. And then we you brought, what was this bottle here? Eastern Kille.
Yeah. I had taken some notes on it, which I left in my hotel room.
Perfect.
Because I didn't expect to partake in this bottle tonight. But
Oh,
anyhow, it's actually a local distillery in downtown Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Yeah.
I think now with this name, I think they've had this name for about 5 or 6 years now.
okay. Oh, that's right. You were mentioning that before the podcast.
Before that, when they were dabbling into getting spirits made, I believe it was called it was Gray Skies.
Gray Skies.
Then they had a lawsuit with the company that owned Sky Vodka, and I think they also owned Wild Turkey.
Perfect.
And they ended up changing their name to Eastern Kille. And I actually picked this bottle, the toasted barrel finish. Picked this up at one of my local spots where I pick up all my bottles to store pick. So I was wondering, and I was just curious if their toasted barrel finish was exclusive to Rishi's over in Grand Rapids. They said this was one of their best-selling bottles that they had.
The barrel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was bottled in 2020, sat for 3 years.
A little over 3 years, it says there. Yeah. You said you weren't planning on getting into this bottle?
No, because I thought the other guy that was supposed to be on was bringing a whole slew of stuff. And
awkward. That's true.
Yep. So
thanks. We don't have to kill it.
So I'll say if we have to, I got a bottle in my bag with something we can.
We don't have to kill it, so you can have some.
no, as long as I have a little bit to bring home.
Yeah.
That's it.
One more pour at the table, maybe, and then that's it. How about that?
Let other guys try. Yeah.
Yeah.
No problem. So,
All right. So this is from Rishi's. Is that as I said?
Yeah. Rishi's International in Grand Rapids. One of the best selections that I've seen in terms of bourbon, different spirits. But this was their exclusive single barrel selection. So picked this up last November,
Okay.
December.
Yeah.
And it's been sitting at the bar at home. So
The home bar.
yes, sir.
Last November?
Yep.
Okay. So 2020 November.
2020.
I was going to say there's no way that would have survived 2020 at your bar.
November.
Because I've talked to
2020.
you
Yes.
during 2020 and after, but at said home bar.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, that wouldn't have lasted.
No.
All right. So this is 62.7. Is that right?
Yeah.
So she's a little warm.
So 125.4 proof.
She's a little warm.
But you don't get that on the nose.
You don't. I'm going to put it up on the screen here. So Eastern Kille toasted barrel finish, but this is a single barrel selection.
Yeah.
And it is barrel strength as well, which is a little bit different. I didn't want to put all that on the banners and stuff because it would fill the entire screen. So did you get some ice cubes?
Yes.
No? All right. I might add a little ice to it. So what do we think of this? What do we know a little bit about it? The bottle's kind of cool, right? Very basic. Very basic. What is that? Like a yellowish? Is that what that is?
Yeah. Looks yellow.
Yellowish. Color on the stickers, and it's just a very basic white print on there. What's kind of cool about this, it has and I don't know what it's called, but it's basically the depth map of, you would know.
Like Michigan?
You're a Navy person. You're a seaman. What's this called? That kind of map that shows the depth of the body of water. I think that's right. That sounds right. Topographical.
Sounds good to me.
That is
All
right.
right, take a sip. Congratulations, you earned it.
Daniel needed Steve's permission.
No, he did not. But he did not hesitate. I won't point that out. When I said, he's like, okay. So yeah, and then it's just got the sticker on here for the Rishi's international beverage, beer, wine, liquor. That's cool.
But
it's very basic, and it's
a lot of the places based in Grand Rapids. They're huge in promoting like the Great Lakes region.
Yeah.
Everything like that over there.
Oh, there is a little bit of a message on here. You see that?
guess I didn't never notice that.
All right, so taken from Middle Dutch. Wait, yeah, taken from Middle Dutch for Riverbed, Eastern Kille Distillery sits near the eastern banks of the Grand River in Grand Rapids. Sorry, the lighting's not great and it's really small. Michigan, Grand Rapids, Michigan, which I lived when I was very young for about like 18 months. Where our bourbon is crafted from grain and double pot distilled. After aging a minimum of 2 years, the Michigan Straight Bourbon was specially selected for bottling at barrel strength, preserving its intense flavor, undiluted and non-chill filtered for the enjoyment of bourbon enthusiasts. That's all I got. That was a lot for that little, like, that was the neck label.
Yeah.
That's fine print there. That was just on the neck. That was right there. That's what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So my eyes are still good, which is a bonus. I've got
So
going.
wait, so that label said it was aged 2 years?
At least 2 years, I believe it said.
Okay, because
And this one's 3.
the sticker on it says 3, and it's
Yeah.
So I'm assuming since you picked this up in November and the sticker says it was bottled November 4th of 2020, I'm assuming that the 3 years that's in there includes the finish. You just don't know how long it was finished in the toasted barrel.
Not like not with our information that we have there now.
Yeah.
I mean, if we had the source, and they could probably tell us, obviously, but we don't have that information. What do you guys think of this? Are you looking up a little bit more info?
yeah, it was just kind
You
of.
had it pulled up, I know.
Yeah.
What do you got?
Yeah, it just says aged a minimum of 2 years in the new charred oak barrels. Pretty much it.
Minimum of 2 years in new
Yeah.
chart. Okay. And that is the toasted barrel regular, right?
See, there's not a lot on this particular one. Like they have the stuff for their straight bourbon, their the barrel proof, and
Yeah.
they've got a lot of different ones. But this was when I talked to Rishi about it last week. I went over there. He said this was his best-selling bottle by them.
The barrel one or the regular
This
toasted barrel
this
finish?
toasted barrel finish, yeah.
Non-barrel pick.
And then I Googled it a
Mhm.
lot and just couldn't find anything. So
I've never heard of Eastern Kille, but it's a Michigan
It's new.
distillery, so it's newer. Yeah.
yeah, it's new.
So
Are they available only in Michigan right now?
I believe so.
Okay.
or in my garage.
I tried to get a hold of Nate to find out more, but
Is he involved in this? Or he
he
distributes?
knows
Yeah.
knows the guys.
Yeah, Nate. So Nate was on last time Nook was here. Stayed up very late in the garage, if I recall correctly. Which,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think that was a 3 o'clock in the morning.
Sean, no one asked you, all right?
Yeah, because
Thanks, Dad.
Nate was so gracious to bring just a nice, good sampling of all the
Everything.
all the different spirits that he handles
Yeah.
with his
Oh, we did
distribution, marketing.
we did a rotation that night for
We actually-
sure.
We ran the gambit
Yeah.
last time.
Yeah, there was
Um,
the Birdie's Bear Bat,
That was when we
bourbon,
did birdies. Was
then the
bourbon.
Knickerbocker Gin.
Yeah,
Barrel aged gin.
barrel aged gin.
Believe Nate probably had some of his tequilas.
There
in
was
too.
tequila. Yeah, we
Um,
were basically just like college kids that night.
Yeah.
yeah.
And then the
And-
Miller Lite came
and then
out.
every Miller Lite inside Steve's refrigerator.
It's just we were in a like seriously the chairs were like in a circle by there, and then Nook got a hold of the he became DJ as well. So
Yeah, that was fun.
it's a good night.
That's
Good-
right.
good night.
I was in bed by the time that all happened.
Yeah.
Nate wasn't here,
Yeah.
but we had a great time.
I was in the garage during the episode, but I definitely left before all that stuff.
Right. Freddie Burt says Miller High Life, no Miller Light. Can't afford that champagne. All right, so what do we think of this now? I'm sipping it. It's got it definitely has some it's a corn.
Yep.
Yeah, corn sweetness for sure. Dustin, you can grab the mic here in just a second here and let us know, but he was saying brown sugar. A lot of that corn sweetness, man. It's like corn syrup, man. I'm not getting the whole toasted barrel like kind of thing. Is there ice in this one?
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, that toasted
Some
barrel
water
process
with
can
this
bring
one.
out more of that
doesn't look
sweetness or
good.
the caramel to it.
What's that?
Doesn't look good in good water.
We discovered that when we had the Old Forester 1910 a few weeks ago that doing that toasted barrel finish,
Probably not.
adds a different level and different depth of flavor to it. This one, it's definitely sweet at the front, but then that spice and that high proof finally gets you at the back end. Like on the nose, you wouldn't be able to tell if this was 125 proof on the nose, but the finish just lasts and lasts and lasts.
Yeah, like their tasty notes, they said, like what Dustin said they put a sweet corn.
Is that what it says?
Sweet corn instead
Yeah.
of white corn or yellow corn. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I just added just a small dash of water. And it kind of takes a little bit. I mean, when I said like that corn, it was pushing that. Like when I've talked about other ones before, especially from Ohio, like a corn water. You know what I mean? It's just like really, really corn. Frito, not so much Fritos, not corn chips. Just like corn, like yeah, it's like corn syrup. I mean, it's definitely heavy on that. Put in a little bit of water, it softens that a little bit. I think. And I'm talking just a dash I put in there. It takes away a little bit of that heat towards the back end. I think it just smooths it out a little bit. Just that little dash of water.
Do you think that water has as much impact on this bottle as the old tub we had last week? Because we added 1 cube of ice, and that changed it drastically.
Yeah. So again, we didn't put an ice cube in this one, but so if you guys were listening last week, the old tub definitely turned for the better. I thought with 1 ice cube, old tub from Jim Beam. Not that it was bad by itself, neat, but it was something where once you add that ice cube on that one. So this one, putting that dash of water in there, and I'm talking dash, it wasn't much, but it definitely changed it a bit and made it a little bit. I don't say, when I say more tolerable, it's not that it's not tolerable without the water. I think it tastes very good. It's very unique. Yeah. But again, I think it's very corn heavy. I don't know. We didn't go over the mash bill. We don't know the mash bill on this, correct?
I don't think so.
I don't know if it says it on there, but definitely it's something that I think softened it a little bit. And again, 62.7 it's up there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's up there. Does it say anything about that?
It doesn't have as much heat as some of the other barrel proofs that we've had that have been in that 120 to 130 range, because we've had some of those that just absolutely lit your mouth on fire.
Right.
This one, it doesn't do that. It's high proof, but yet it's a little delicate. Like you still get that sweetness up front. The alcohol content isn't just blasting your palate away. You can still pick that up. And I actually, so far in my pour, I think it's actually softened up as I have been drinking it. Like that
shocked it a little bit.
Yeah, that first sip, the finish just really blew my palate away. But then, like as I keep going, like more of that sweetness has come out as I've been drinking through this glass.
Yeah. This is definitely a unique bottle, because I'm doing, because you had a little bit of info, but it's on the straight bourbon, and then I saw a bottle and bond on there. This has got to be a unique bottle, which
isn't, the bottle and bond's not out yet.
Oh, well, I'm looking at, like, I put in Eastern Kill toasted barrel review, and literally nothing comes up on it. Right. So this has got to be a very, very unique one.
Yeah.
It's only been out for not even 5 months.
So it might be something they haven't put out as a mass produced product other than barrel picks.
With Rishi's selling as much as they do, they could, he might have got the exclusive on it.
Yeah, could have. No, so what do you think, Nook?
I like it. Like I was trying, like last time when I was here with Nate, like he does the original tin cup.
Mm-hmm.
So with the tin,
that's right.
Like I always do I always put just a little bit, without any water
dash in there,
and it takes away a lot of bite
in the tin.
Yeah. Just so I can get more notes. But yeah, the corn, caramel, but it's got the heat to it, but it's not as I guess I would say like hot as some other high proof stuff that I have at home.
No, it's not. It doesn't taste. I don't think it like blows you away like a.
No.
Yeah.
Can you explain the tin? I've never heard that. So
don't drink out of that. I don't think he rinsed that one because that was ice, and that's definitely yellow.
Which is bumming me out because I drank
not quite
out of it.
Oh, you drank out of that?
Yeah.
Wait, what'd you put in there? Just ice?
Just ice. Yeah, Dustin put a couple ice.
You drank water out of that?
No, that's bourbon.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
you're good. See, I thought that was just
No.
ice.
No, I put bourbon.
Oh, then
in
it's
it,
safe.
too.
All right.
I'm like, wait, what? I was kind of lost when we were first talking, but
You just let it go.
I just let it go.
Well, have it.
So
Have some.
with the when my buddy was here last time,
Jesus
he
Christ.
actually bought
Light up my
the
cigar.
I guess like the patent and everything for the original tin cup. You know how they have copper, like when they do mules and everything. So his new venture is pretty much like resurrecting old brands and anything associated with like bourbon and stuff like that. So the way that I met him probably 3-4 years ago was through my dad. He was retired, but my dad was helping secure like manufacturing. He wanted to do it all made in Michigan, everything using local just local guys. I actually went to where it was being made, but for some reason, like, we were doing samples where you pour the bourbon or whatever spirit that you want just in a regular glass, take a sip, then you put it in the tin cup and take a sip, and it's different. Yeah. Takes away some of like the, I guess, like alcoholness or something. Yeah. So it does change the profile of it.
There's some sort of interaction going on there with
Yeah.
the metal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Science is
So-
fancy.
We got
But I guess
some
it's-
science up in here.
It's been around forever, and I didn't even know that Nate gifted Steve one of the
Yeah, I got at
the
least
tin
one in
cups.
there. Yeah. We have a hello, sir. I'm in the Pakistan. Please help me. My contact number is blank. Help the job. Why the many thanks for your help. Not sure what that's about.
Ignore and block that one.
Mr. Shah, if you would like to comment on the podcast, and what are you drinking tonight? This morning, probably this morning there, right? He's in the Pakistan, as it says.
He's a few hours behind Ray.
Not making fun of you, but we're not going to call you. I don't know how to call you. Huh. Dustin, you want to kick his mic there?
Steve?
You grabbed the mic. I figured you want to say something.
Oh, I was just hanging on to it for.
What'd you think of the whiskey there, bud?
Whiskey, yeah. Well,
All right.
So, like I mentioned earlier, I got a lot of like light brown sugar off the nose and right off the rip. I added some water to it, just a dab. I got a lot more oakiness.
Mhm.
That heat just kind of explodes on your palate and then just dissipates. So I think Nook, to your point, like a lot of higher proof whiskeys out there, you'll have that real long finish. You get the burn, it lasts for a good while. This doesn't really have that. It just kind of mellows down. But it's phenomenal. I definitely dig it. I know Freddie mentioned earlier, asked if it tasted as young as it actually states. I would say absolutely not.
Yeah.
Personally, I think the extra toasting has a lot to do with that. Just because it adds a lot of more flavor and complexity to it, but personal preference.
See, maybe it is the
or like the
non-chill. Yeah, non-chill filtered. I don't think it tastes young. I just
No, not at all.
it's a lot of corn. Have I said that yet?
A
lot of
Maybe
sweet corn.
kind of like that
Sweet corn.
dark.
Sweet baby
corn
Jesus
syrup.
corn.
I grew up. My dad used that on his pancakes. a lot,
Nook,
so-
what did
What was it?
like Cairo dark corn syrup?
Oh,
Yeah, it wasn't like
sounds heavy.
regular- yeah,
Yeah.
might play into why he's a type 2 diabetic now. So
They're having a blast with
that dude's gonna get roasted?
I got it. So, I can't. Sir from Pakistan, we can't help you with the job. I'm sorry. If these aren't going to be related to the podcast, I am going to have to block you. Sorry. I mean, we'd like to help you. I just don't have a job to help you with. Is CLE hiring?
no,
Not currently.
not currently.
I feel bad. I don't want to make light of this. I feel bad if this person is really out there, like on podcast, looking for jobs. That's I mean, you got to love the hustle.
Next, he's gonna ask about your car warranty.
No, come on. Okay.
Nook, what'd you pay for this bottle?
I think it was around I think it was just a hair under 50.
Oh, really?
A hair under 50. Wow.
I was not expecting that for a barrel pick.
No, I thought you were gonna say, somewhere around the 70 is where I was gonna ballpark it. So barrel pick this high proof under $50. That's
I've always liked their barrel picks. Like they're really on par. Like they just came out with I think I just picked up their last round of Elijah Craig barrel picks.
Oh yeah,
right around like 32.
Yeah, the Elijah
much,
Craig barrel
like-
pick, if it's just a 94 proof,
Yeah.
the normal one, like it's the normal price.
Yeah.
Normal price of Elijah Craig. It's great.
And it's funny. I go, and then my buddies told me about their local store because they live on like the Metro Detroit side of the state,
Mm-hmm.
and theirs went up over the 40 for like the same thing. So no, these guys they're really reasonable.
Michigan is not a state controlled pricing thing, right? I mean, you can. So you're kind of saying it's anything they want to charge, basically.
There's minimums.
Minimums, yeah, sure.
But yeah, I rolled into a store in Metro Detroit. Day before St. Patrick's Day, and it was a store that I used to go into way back when, and saw like all their Wellers up on the shelf, and I was like, "Huh, Weller Red, not paying $90 for that, sir."
Yeah,
No, my neighbors. I'm not going to say which ones, in case you guys know my neighbors. They are currently on vacation in Florida, and he sent me a picture. He's like, "Hey, you need anything?" And I was looking at it, I was like, "Oh, Eagle Rare." They had a couple other things, and I was like about to say, grab me a bottle of Eagle Rare just because I like it and I can't find it around here. And then I zoomed in, and it was $84.99 for a bottle of just regular Eagle Rare, which is absurd. Absurd.
Well, I told you, like you brought up Weller. I've seen Weller Special Reserve, the green labels, at over $100 before.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it gets like there was this guy had it was Weller Green back when they used to make like with the gallon or half gallon.
Yeah,
with
the
handle.
1.75.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he had that in a case, and I used to buy that for like $29.99 at the Party Source.
Yeah.
Before the boom.
yeah.
So I blocked Mr. Shaw.
This thing just took a whole like mind of its
Yeah,
own.
we're trying to stay on point.
I'm trying to. I kept glancing down.
So
at
I
it.
blocked
I'm
him.
like,
I'm sorry. I don't.
between the guys in the garage and my nephew on there, like
Yeah, but this guy had that bottle for I think it was $4.50.
Oh wow,
I said, I'm like, oh well, I know that bottle's
not that.
old, but
Yeah.
I said that retail for $29.99.
Yeah, exactly.
He's like, well, it's
A little
vintage. I'm like, 4 years old maybe.
What is
once
vintage
it's
mean?
out, once it's out of the
matter.
barrel, it stops aging. Doesn't matter how long it's been sitting in that
He's like, you don't want it?
uncorked
No,
bottle.
sir, I'm good.
No, I'm not an idiot, but I'm
No,
sure.
I'm
Fine.
good for
Good
that.
luck finding your idiot. Let's move on to the cigar here a little bit. Now that how is he still commenting? All right, never mind.
He has his way, sir.
The Bourbon and BS community page may have been compromised.
Because pretty soon you're going to be getting an email saying like you send them 2,000 and they'll send you 25,000 in Princess Gold.
He's
or
looking for a
something like
job,
that.
but he's
Like,
working. That's what I like about it.
Yeah.
And he apologized. He's nice. You are nice, man. Oh man. I'm glad you're enjoying the show in Pakistan. Tell your friends and share and like and give us a review. 5 stars, hopefully. Don't base it on the fact that I'm not hiring right now. The cigar, the CLE 25th anniversary, which I really want to smoke because we were talking here. Wow, there's a first for everything. 162 episodes in. Here we are. I hope he stays with us. I mean, somehow he's Jason Gamble, nice block. I tried twice.
I did. So I have to look over to Nook's tablet if I want to see any of the comments.
Oh, you blocked him?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I blocked him from the page, I think.
Oh, no, I blocked to where I can't see any of it.
All right. Anyways, the CLE.
well, that's no fun.
Yeah, come on.
Well, I got it right here.
I know.
Have at it.
See, let's stay on point. Mr. Shaw, if you're still listening, what are you smoking and drinking tonight? But you came in the Pakistan, please.
You came to Pakistan?
I don't know.
All right. Is there
CLE.
is this like NC-17 tonight or what?
I don't know what's
It
going on.
is
It's definitely explicit. Everyone out. I'll see you guys next week.
Oh gosh, Albie.
Oh,
Nook. Come. All right,
All right.
so this is a brand new
Focus.
cigar. So this is a brand new cigar from CLE, which is Christian Eiroa.
isn't the topic focus?
It's some... Yes.
All right.
All right, tell us about this, will you? Please.
It's all vintage Honduran tobaccos. Christian really likes to keep a lot of stuff close to the vest. So, you know, our thing is the vintage authentic
Nice.
Corojo tobacco.
Correct, yes.
So, like you said before, for the 20th, which I can't believe that we launched that 5 years ago,
It's shocking.
almost 6 now.
The Maduro
Because-
came out first. It was just the 20th, and then
And
right,
then like
the
about
Colorado
6
came
months later or
afterwards.
so,
Yeah,
we came out with the Colorado.
Yeah.
But his 25th anniversary was in 2020.
Mhm.
But then with the whole COVID thing, everything got
a little bit of a curveball.
everything got pushed back. You guys were actually pre-ordering it at the dinner that we did.
Yeah, over at
So,
Royale, which
yep.
we've had Ryan Newman on. He's the GM over at Royale on the west side of Columbus.
Yes, sir. So, and then they finally started shipping. We just sent out like, I believe it was the second or third wave, just like 2 weeks ago.
Do you know if we got this at the Tinderbox?
I was at,
It's
I
not
was at-
there, but I'm saying, do you know if we ordered it?
I was pulling up like a lot of your
Yeah.
your order history, and I believe you guys ordered the Toro,
Okay.
the 54 by
And
6.
we're smoking the 6x60.
Yeah.
This is a box press.
Yeah.
Kind of a rectangular press, if you will.
Yeah.
It's wider width, like a cross,
Yeah.
if you will,
You know,
based on
yeah.
where the band is placed.
So it doesn't seem like it's a 60.
Right. No, it's very
think-
comfortable.
I think like Christian likes to call that almost like a soft box.
Mhm. But it's a little flatter. Like
Yeah.
it's not like flat, but it's
Mhm.
it's definitely it's wider than it is tall, if you will. As far as that, so it's definitely comfortable.
So, but that was Christian's big release last year,
Mhm.
which really shipped at the end of last year,
Yeah.
and it's starting to hit its stride going into 2021.
Is there a reason, because the Eiroa 20th,
Yeah.
a lot of the more recent releases, I feel like that you guys are doing are box press. We have a
Yeah.
lot of box press action there, and you're not alone in that, but I know you guys are doing that. So when it comes to cigars,
Well,
is
especially
there a reason? I feel like that's become a bit of a trend.
well when Camacho first, because Nate and I were talking about old Camacho stuff when Christian first started. Like I remember back in like 97, 98 when I was working in the shops.
Yeah.
A lot of Christian's original stuff was like a soft box press. Some of the
Oh, was it?
original Camacho stuff.
Okay.
And then some of the sizes went around,
Mhm.
and then pretty much everything after that was all round. But then I was remembering about the I'm trying not to look.
Thank you for the
The,
luck,
uh,
Mr. Shaw.
The Camacho 10-year anniversary that Christian made when he was still with Camacho
They owned Camacho at the time.
was a soft box press. It actually kind of
Similar to this.
reminded me of the look of that.
The color scheme almost in the kind of the more muted. Like it's got a bit of a gold leaf to it, but it's
Yeah.
definitely like muted.
Mhm.
It reminds me a bit of the old Camacho bands, like because they didn't really have a really high gloss, if I
Right.
remember correctly. Like the original Corojo
Mhm.
was it brown?
Yep.
So, but it's kind of it's throwing me back to that kind of, because you don't really have a whole lot that are like that. Like the Eiroa first 20 years and the first 20-year Colorado.
Some hologram in there.
Holograms, yeah, real kind of like flashy,
Mhm.
kind of new age, but also traditional on the other aspects. This is definitely more of a muted thing. Now, it does say Christian Eiroa several times, like in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then if you notice on the back of it where you have like the leaves, it's very nice artwork there. There's leaves everywhere,
So
which I
this-
love it.
This kind of reminds me of actually.
Reaching for something. And
The-
it says Corojo right there on the back as well. So you got what, the Asylum 8?
Yeah, the
Mhm.
bands that we do for that, it's actually very similar.
So yeah, like kind of that muted.
Yeah.
Got a lot of depth to it, which is, I mean, it just really goes well. And just from a marketing standpoint for you guys, which is not, it doesn't have to do. It's just like a good looking bottle doesn't matter what's in it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But this definitely backs it up, and we'll get into the flavor of it, where your smoking experience. But the look of it is just so classic, including your box here,
So
slide top.
So like with Eiroa,
Imprinted.
everything is 20 count
Mhm.
with the nice vector art in the I was kind of clearing my throat, so I backed up. Like the vector art in the lid of the box.
Mhm.
So with CLE, everything is cabinet style. So I like that he kept everything uniform.
Yeah.
And just kept it classy. So we have the CLE signature, which we're going to be doing like a rebranding
Okay.
later on this year, and the band is going to be similar to that. He's going to ride out that theme.
I'm gonna set these down for a second. Oh, geez, I even have the
Can't
wrong
really-
banner up. I know. Let me move
Can't
that.
really see it anyway. But
Steve, you were talking about the band. To me, with the kind of muted colors to
Yeah.
it, even though it's still got kind of a bright green and red, it kind of reminds me of like an old school rustic Christmas theme.
Yeah, in this light, I couldn't even tell that was a little bit of green back there.
Like it's not bright and shiny, but just it kind of makes you think of like an old school rustic Christmas.
Yeah, it's like the really, really expensive Christmas wrapping paper that like you get your gift and like your aunt spent like way too much money on it, and then she wants you to like open it like really easily, like along the tape.
You can save it for next year.
Oh, my aunt did. Aunt Gwen. I mean, it was like we would
My
always.
mom still does that.
Really?
Stuff too.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it reminds me of, that really high end like wrapping paper.
I swear we're still using bows from when I was like 12 years old.
Oh yeah, the Scotch tape.
You can't
know what I mean?
cannot
like
throw away the bows. Those things are so
the ones with the
deep.
self-adhesive the first time. Are you
Oh,
talking
yeah.
about those?
Oh yeah.
Not like the real bows, like
No.
tie bows.
No.
Yeah.
I think some of those probably like from my childhood back in Chicago too. Like those things made them move.
Yeah. No, yeah. My parents' basement, my mom still has all that stuff. In fact, I think it doesn't really leave the ping pong table that we haven't used in about 20 years. That's like the wrapping station in the basement. Yeah, it's still there, I think. Like if I went over there right now, and I don't know if my mom's listening, but I'm going to verify that though for you guys on Easter. We'll find out. Need any wrapping done? What are we looking at the comments here?
Yeah.
Jason Gamble's asking, do we have it at the Tinderbox yet? If not, when will we have it? Tinderbox,
Soon.
yeah, soon, according to that. We're not quite sure, but I'll definitely post it when we get it in. So we'll definitely, I've been trying to get as good as I can with that, with Tinderbox at Easton, promoting what we are getting in.
What does this normally run? Nook?
This one probably around
Not cheap, I bet you.
I think this one's 17.
Yeah.
17. All right.
And you didn't really disclose the blend, right? But I assume
Christian,
it's
like-
Corojo heavy.
Oh yeah.
Corojo heavy, a lot of age on it, I'd imagine. Some
Yeah.
of the most select wrapper leaves. The wrapper leaf is gorgeous. Now, again, in the box press, a lot of times you can flatten it out a little bit. I feel like a lot of those, you have that. But the first 20 year for you guys, the first 20 years it's a tough act to follow.
Yeah.
As far as commemorating that stuff, and I like what you guys are doing because I don't think you guys are really going after it. But I remember when the first 20 years came out, and then the Colorado came out.
Mm-hmm.
It was, and I was describing it to people that had not smoked it. I said, this is, in my opinion, if I could say that this is kind of, it stands up as a Honduran version, if you will, of like a Padron anniversary project. And not only necessarily in look, obviously with the holograms and everything else that you guys went, and they have nice bands on their stuff too, but the stuff you guys are putting out for these anniversaries, not only do they kind of resemble because they're box press, and I don't think that's what you guys are going after as a company, but as a retailer or a consumer, you put them next to each other and you're like, oh, okay, they're trying to go after Padron because they're killing it with that stuff, or they're highly rated all the time. I'm shocked not to see the 20-year on most of the lists in the top 25s, which kind of, it does, not only because I like you, I like Christian, but I mean, the cigars themselves are just absolutely top notch. I'm shocked they're not in there.
He doesn't play the game.
He doesn't play the game, but even some of the publications that you don't really have to play the game,
But if you look at like European Cigar Journal,
they're highly rated.
like like the Eiroa Classic, the 48x4, the soft box press won Cigar of the Year with European Cigar Journal. The Colorado has won top Cigar of the Year for Honduras.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
get a lot of Cigar of the Year in Spain. So it's really big.
It's well
in the
received, clearly.
European
Yeah.
market.
Yeah.
But then when like a lot of stores, I know you guys had done it before, like when you do your own, top picks of like the year, it's consistently in the store's top picks, which is cool to see.
Which is, I mean, that's, it's, I don't know. The only reason I brought up the whole Padron comparison is because the appearance, the quality, obviously, as far as, what you're getting in it. But I mean, it's really cool to see you guys doing that. Because, Christian and the company and the family history, obviously, sadly, in my opinion, because it was under the Camacho brand for a while, it kind of got not lost, but it's not like the Padron name, which was the Padron name.
Right.
The Eiroa name has been around in the tobacco industry for
they've been growing
third generation, right?
They've been growing tobacco for I think 105 years now.
So more than that. Yeah. So we're talking decades, if not a century, of the name being in the business. And so now to see CLE 25th, people that don't know the Eiroa name, and the fact that his father was the one that really pushed it, if I remember initially with the Corojo seed that they were able to put their hands on and stuff like that. So, I mean, it's just cool. It's cool to see. I love it. And I love seeing you guys put out good projects. And I'm enjoying this. I'm getting definitely some spices. I've gotten into it, which I kind of expected.
Yeah, it is changing.
It's complex.
And it's, and you have like the little bit of the heat with this too. I was really curious to see how it would smoke with drinking that, like the higher proof.
Yeah.
Actually,
I've kind of stuck with a cigar a little bit longer.
It actually complements it really well.
I agree. Just the sweetness from the whiskey, it kind of brings out to me this kind of it's almost like a roasted hay note to the cigar.
Roasted hay.
Like, not when I say hay, I don't.
Yes.
Like, if I say grass or hay, like some people think like a candela. No, not that. Very different. It's just this very mild but pleasant, sweet earthiness to it, but not like a nut flavor or anything like that. And I really enjoy it.
Fresh.
It's a very unique flavor.
Fresh hay.
It's a
Sweet
unique
grass.
flavor that I've not gotten on a cigar before that I can think of, but it's just what stuck out to me, and it was really pleasant flavor, but then a lot of spice on the retrohale. So kind of like with the whiskey, it's got a little bit of sweetness and earthiness up front, and then a spicy finish.
See, I don't get as much sweetness from it. What do you think, Nook? I mean, obviously you smoked them before.
Yeah.
And I don't know if your boss is listening, but
Who knows?
Who knows? Who knows? You got people from other countries clearly listening.
I'm getting the spice though. There's a lot.
Definitely getting spice.
Maybe a little bit of sweetness, but I don't know how much of it is this. But
yeah, I think maybe
you know what?
Get that second glass here, and then.
But what I like is that it doesn't clash with a higher proof like that.
No, and also like
because I've had cigars just completely clashed, and this is the thing, brand new bottle. I've never had it before, and because usually I like to smoke them and try out the pairing beforehand. So that's why I brought a couple different options too. I was like, oh man, got to roll the dice. But with like Tom Lazuka, big bourbon guy, Christian,
which we need to get him on. We talked about that, by the way. Side note.
He's finally coming back from Miami. He's been in Miami for 2 months. So
sounds rough. But
then Christian, he's just a simple guy, likes his gentleman Jack or just regular Jack. So actually, like I'm not a Jack guy, but it seems to every cigar that he makes would go along with that, like with the caramely type flavor,
I've found some of those guys like Christian, like they have their drink. They're very particular.
Oh, he is.
Yeah. But I think that's part of that design. Like they know what they like.
Yeah.
And so he's been able to veer off, but he brings in other people in the cigar side of it. And I don't know Christian nearly as well as you do, obviously. But what I can gather is that he's very particular about a lot of things, including, obviously with the, going Corojo heavy, Honduran Corojo heavy. That's what I would expect from him, is that when he knows he likes something and he can actually use it possibly as a tool. And that makes sense with what you're saying.
Like this went through a lot of different variations before he decided with this. At first it was called the Graduate, and then it became the CLE 25th anniversary. But that's like, when we were trying out. Oh,
that's that birdie.
Got
Brown.
the birdie.
10.
Like even with when we debuted like Eiroa First 20 year at the trade show, he wasn't ready for anybody to smoke it yet, but he had boxes, but they were behind glass.
I remember.
Like he is. That
was the one trade show I went to, if I recall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a perfectionist.
Well, and that's where I think part of his success, because he's also a very real person. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
He's very realist, that he knows that he doesn't want to necessarily put out a bad product, but he's not like over the over the top where it's like, oh, it's never ready. It's never ready. It's never ready. No, this is nice.
Takes his time.
He does.
And if the age of the tobacco is not there, it's not going to send it out. So, and that's a lot of the issues we're having now. Like, well, every company with supply issues and still feeling, but our sales are up, just like a lot of other companies too. So it's been, he's just not going to rush anything out there.
No, and that's good. I do appreciate that. And that's why, even with the delay on this, you guys are still slow to roll it out a little bit. You don't want to overflow the market. I did put one ice cube in this second glass, and I found that. So Old Tub was a little bit like that. It wasn't like super like corn heavy or anything, but it had that little bit of that brash on that one. And that was only 100 proof last week. Throwing that ice cube in there, it was actually, I think that's what this, maybe it's just me. Maybe it's this time of the year. I don't know.
Put a splash in your tin cup.
Well, I have ice. Does anyone else want an ice cube?
I'll take an ice cube.
Let me try that ice cube before we do that.
Try the little.
Do you want an ice cube in your glass or no? You're good. Oh, you did some on the tin one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gone now.
Just use your fingers. There's nothing going around.
Flu season's gone.
Where would you classify this cigar in terms of the strength?
Strength on this one, you're asking
Medium plus.
You say medium plus. Not smoking the entire cigar yet. About
Medium.
almost halfway. Yeah, I'd say medium plus. No,
Yeah.
This has definitely got a bit of a punch to it. And it's definitely full flavored. I'm not really getting blown away, like feeling the nicotine, but I also wouldn't want to inhale this one to find out. Just probably because of that spice.
Just
you know
like
what I mean?
Even like all the spice, like on the retro the spice is there. So
Yeah.
But
See, this is one that I'm sorry. Go ahead, Nate.
well, I was gonna say, like Nook was talking about, these two not clashing, because we've had that before on the podcast where we smoked a stronger cigar and drank a higher proof whiskey. I think that particular episode was like 128, 129 proof, and it was just way too much. Granted, it was also in the middle of the summer, but just even in the wintertime, like it still would have been too much for the palate. But this, they both have spice on it, but the spice that each has do complement and balance each other out a little bit. And it doesn't overpower and overwhelm the palate.
Yeah.
So the fact that you can smoke a cigar with this kind of strength and flavor with 125 proof single barrel, like that's really good when it comes to a pairing, because it'd be interesting, what this cigar would smoke like with something that wasn't quite so hot, and see how if the cigar overpowers it, or if another spirit might overpower the cigar. But the fact that this cigar, the flavor and everything holds up to 125 proof, I mean, that says a lot about the blend of this cigar.
Yeah, I mean, the flavor is definitely there. Even sipping on this, what is it? Eastern Kille. And And I keep seeing the word toasted. I didn't get this whole toasted. I don't know what I was expecting from toasted barrel finish.
That's
I had
what
the-
was, yeah, that was. I was wondering that ever since I picked up the bottle.
Yeah, I don't think it's the like when they say toasted barrel. I think it's very literal. Like
Yeah.
I assume that they.
So we just had a few weeks ago. We did the Old Forester 1910.
Yeah,
and that is finished in a toasted
they
and then recharred barrel.
recharred. Yeah,
And that toasting process will bring out more of like the vanilla
yeah, and the
and
caramel,
oak
right?
flavors.
Oh, oak. That's
and then
what
the
it was.
caramel comes from that second, from after they toast it, they then char it. That brings out more of the vanilla flavor.
Okay.
Or not vanilla, caramel.
Caramel.
So the toasting will bring out the vanilla. The char will bring out the caramel.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's funny. I have that word toasted floating around in my like rattling around my big head. A lot of empty space up there. And yeah, heavy on char, more sugars, Dustin says. But I kind of get that like toastiness here,
Mm-hmm.
as I said once before, toasted bread.
You mean toast?
Yeah, that's it. That's the one. That's the one. Isn't this funny? Like on my screen here, you see this? Like, doesn't it look like I'm getting stalked by Nate Hale?
That's like when somebody follows you new on Instagram.
Yeah. Basically, it's just like I wish I could take a screenshot of this. So it's just like Nate Hale is watching. Nate Hale is watching. I have nightmares because I feel like Nate Hale is watching.
Yeah, I was driving back home last week from being on the road, and somebody new started following me on Instagram. And then I'm driving, and I'm just watching my phone just go up. Like 27 photos liked right in a row. I was like,
Is it
all
Mr.
right,
Shaw?
right on. No.
From Pakistan?
But but you're
Looks like that.
Yeah, it looks like
It's
you're
creepy, right?
Nate on your
But
screen.
see, it's not doing it with Nooks, and obviously it's not doing it with mine. So
Always watching.
I don't
Always watching. Make sure you close the
I
blinds.
always feel like
Close the blinds.
Nobody's
So
watching
let's do the
me.
pairing. So again, thank you for bringing this, Nook. This is fantastic. I'm excited for this cigar to hit the market, for everyone else to be able to enjoy it.
Mhm.
It's definitely, you guys. I'll say this from a consumer standpoint. You look at some of the Eiroa products. Once it has and this is the CLE. This isn't even the Eiroa name, which is kind of your
Correct.
flagship. So.
Right.
In fact, I'll ask that question. Why isn't this Eiroa 25th anniversary? Is there significance? Are you trying to push the CLE brand name as
Kind of push CLE because that's his
Okay.
it's his other side. The Eiroa has always been almost kind of like for the family. Like that's
Okay.
going to be, like you said before, I've had customers where I've had Christian in the store and they said, you know what, this is the Padron anniversary of Honduras.
Yeah.
And Christian takes it as a great compliment. So the Eiroa has always been front and center. And then, so when the 25th came around, like I said, this was supposed to be called something else.
right?
And then, well, it's my 25th anniversary, so let's use the other side of his
CLE,
brand.
yeah,
well, and again,
CLE.
that is
So-
his initials.
Right.
CLE is Christian's initials.
What's the L
so-
stand for?
Luis.
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 Oh, remember that one.
And then when you go to like Tom's side, all of his anniversaries are like Asylum 8 that
Yeah.
we have. Then the 9 will come out later on this year. So Tom's got that, and Christian has his.
Okay. Just curious. But
But-
yeah, I was going to comment on the price point. If you say this starts at like the Robusto, right? They're 5x50, I assume.
Yeah, 5x50,
642.
54x6, and a 60x6, and then also for the TAA stores, I believe we did an 1118.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
box
nice.
press.
I love that
Nice.
1118 size.
Box press.
Yep.
What?
Interesting.
1118
I'm-
box press.
I'm pretty sure it is. I've never seen one out in the wild yet.
No.
So
I would love to see that.
I
1118.
don't have many TAA stores in my territory.
Sure.
It's very few and far
True.
between.
Sure.
So,
Yeah, the 1118. We've smoked that size before on here.
well, that's what this one is.
The
Is it?
pregnant Toro.
Yep. The Asylum Anniversary Series.
Okay, they do
Those
the
are all-
1118.
Yep.
All right, so let's get to the rating here. Before I keep getting sidetracked, the price, right? So like having you guys come out swinging at like the $17 MSRP on this.
Yeah.
I assume there's age. I think it's justified. It's not just like they're adding dollars to it, but like the Eiroa first 20 year, lands at that the lower teens to mid teens as far as dollars when it comes out. For those cigars, and that was a little bit pricier than obviously your core lines of CLE. Asylum is in that kind of, I don't want to say budget, but average price point.
But when we did, when we started off, we did Asylum 7. Last year was Asylum 8, and this year will be Asylum 9 because this is our 9th year in business. These have sold extremely well. This whole series, it kind of
Asylums.
It's kind of a play on Christian's old Liberty, like the nice dress
Camacho
boxes.
Liberties, yeah.
They come in coffins, but
that looks like a Pinewood Derby car, man.
You know what? But unlike
Love it.
most of the rest of the Asylum line, that comes in at the $20 price point.
This does?
And we sell it like crazy.
Ooh. Seriously, though, Pinewood Derby?
Yeah.
You see what I'm
But
saying?
remember,
with the metallic,
like the old Liberties came in.
a set of wheels on that, kind of narrow down the nose.
Little coffins. But we make everything, in our box factory, but it's just, it pops. The boxes are beautiful.
They really, even like this is like all lacquered on the back. Like, okay.
And it's probably using your guys' cedar that you make that you grow on site.
Yeah, it's all done by us. Do the flake paint, and
there's your event idea.
Get some like
Pinewood Derby,
little tack nails with those hard plastic wheels.
Right.
And...
I always lost because there's always that one kid, at least, that did the whole store bought. They go to the hobby store and they get like the kit, and there I am with a piece of pine.
Yeah, like growing up,
like out in the garage with no real tools that my parents had. I'm just like sanding away at it, like I'm whittling.
During Cub Scouts, I lived in West Michigan, lived in Grand Haven, so like a suburb of Grand Rapids. It's just single mom, and like I come home with the Pinewood Derby kit, and she's like, I don't know.
You're the kit guy?
Yeah. Can't really help you there with that. But then you could tell which parents
built
worked
it for their kids.
Like one kid, like his dad like worked for like Ford or something.
Engineering.
Come on.
I swear that thing came from the tech center. Like
they had a clay model in it and aerodynamic.
What kind of ball bearings are on these things?
Oh, they had like all the BBs like all made in the bottom. But back then this was in the 80s. Like we had to use the kit. I'm like, no way that thing came out of the kit. Like this guy, like
we had a standard piece of wood, and then like you had the weights, and then you had like chisel out where you put the weights. Mine never like sat.
That's the kit.
Oh, I thought there was like kits at the hobby store that literally were like kind of piece it together.
No, it was the official kit.
Oh, the official kit. I'm talking about the kit ones where like they had it already. Like you could see that it was
this
already...
kid rolled in with this. I'm like, wait,
bullshit.
That's even wider than.
Is that a wide body Pinewood Derby?
He's like, well, the dad's like, well, my son shaved off some of the top, and then we put the pieces. No, sir, you did
that. Did they win?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Smoked everybody.
They better.
They did the wind tunnel test.
Pretty much is what that thing looked like.
Well, it was a Ford. It could have broken down. Down the track.
All right. Well, somebody's already said. When you win the Derby,
that's
you
Daniel here. That's here in the garage.
Oh, I didn't even realize that. I just looked down. I just saw the Derby. I was like, all right, good idea.
I'm definitely bringing this up if you don't to Tom when he's finally on the podcast that this is the new event thing.
So now we have to do with Nook. We have to do a Pinewood Derby event, and we have to do the pool party where you bring your own.
I was thinking about that on my 7-hour drive today to bring your own pool.
Well, I don't have any objections at the house at this point. So we could do it.
You just have to take the pool with you.
You have to, because I don't want my grass to
and
die.
You have to chip in for Steve's water bill for that month.
Thanks.
BYOP. Actually, no. Tom, I think, said he was going to provide all the pools.
All the pools.
Oh, yes.
All right.
Pretty sure we can buy those by bulk too.
Probably. Yeah, you can buy anything by bulk now.
That'd be
like
awesome.
Costco
Get the CLE or the.
So as it says on the screen, rating time, whiskey, cigar, and the pairing. Let me get us back on track for part 1 here as we round out. We have some great ideas. Good creative time, guys. Way to go to the chalkboard here. Someone writing these down, the ideas that are brilliant. Sean,
we got the dry erase board over there.
That's perfect. We'll just roll it back to tape. Yeah.
I do like the Pinewood Derby thing,
I'm
though.
saying, I think it's a thing. I think
know-
this is like you'd have a problem because you have to bring the track, right? And they have to be long.
You know what would
So
actually,
Camacho did the whole thing where they had like motorcycles and stuff. Like you just have like
Yeah.
trailer, with the
no,
Pinewood
but you know what
Derby
would be
track.
cool though. Like, I'm
Send out the
hoping,
kits
I'm
early.
hoping for next March. The 10 is resurrected. Get to do the
Pinewood
event.
Derby.
Coming to because the Asylum 9 will already be out. You guys are down for the Asylum 9
Perfect.
on your pre-orders.
Good.
So, you know what? You got to go in the store, buy your,
Oh, I got it.
and then
Got it. So we either do it 9 or you do 10 or you do 9 lanes, right?
yeah,
And you have a prefab kit. It's like, because it's good that if you had the time to make your Pinewood Derby car and everyone like gets a kit, and does that. But it's kind of like when you go to the go-kart track where you just pick the car and everyone like there's one faster one, you know what I mean? So
yeah.
so you just basically you sign up and then you pull the numbers
Yeah.
and you have an Asylum, 1 through 9,
but how
right? Cars.
Yeah.
And then you just get that track and then there's a prize.
How sweet would it be, like, for the
Thank you for tuning into our brainstorming session
like
here
the,
tonight in the garage.
the finals, like the 10 event comes back and we do the finals. There's plenty enough room in there
Oh yeah,
to do the finals, like at the 10 event.
love it.
That'd be
All right.
actually kind of cool.
Well, this
Hey,
part of the rating, I'm going to give it a little extra point for the creativity that came out of it.
hey, this was this whole lineup was
Pinewood Pool Party.
yes,
Alliteration's always good. I like it.
That's right.
the triple P.
Yeah.
All right.
The triple P means something different in 2020,
Hey.
but
It's a little bit different today. We switched the whole lineup on Monday or yesterday.
yesterday
So, you know what? We're having fun with it.
I like
And
it.
thank you, the guy from Afghanistan or wherever.
Pakistan.
Pakistan. So, I don't know. It's
If
been
anyone's hiring,
it's been different.
all right. Nook, why don't you start since you're the guest of honor here? Out of 10, this is where we do the ratings. Out of 10, 10 being the best. We rate the whiskey, we rate the cigar, and then we rate out of 10 the pairing. So there's 3 ratings. So start with the whiskey and then the cigar and then how they go well together or not.
I've never my 2 other times on here, I've never done a rating.
We're growing.
So can I go last?
Yes.
Yeah.
Nate.
Okay.
Since I brought the stuff, I figure I just
I'll go and give you
guest
some
honor
time to think.
Makes up the rules. That's fine.
So on the whiskey, I'm going to give this solid 8.5. It's got some good flavor. It's not super complex in its flavor, I don't think, but it does have some sweetness up front, spicy finish. Not as intense as you may think coming in at a 125.4 proof. Don't really get the heat on the nose. So, and under $50, I think it's definitely a good bottle. As Nook said, they're probably all gone. So, and they were only available in Michigan. So
yeah, they were long gone.
sorry if you didn't buy one 5 months ago.
But if you're in Michigan, check out Eastern Kill though for sure. Some
Yeah,
of their
absolutely.
products
Absolutely.
worth a shot
It's
based
right
on this
down,
one.
Yeah, it's right down on the water.
They're-
Right down, yeah, it's right
their
downtown
distillery.
Grand Rapids.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
On the cigar, I'm definitely a 9 on the cigar.
Nice.
It's got a lot of flavor, really good smoke. The wrapper's got this nice oiliness to it because I noticed I was holding it by the band, but then my index finger was still up towards the head of the cigar, and then I look in the light and I can see like the oil crystals and stuff on my finger. So there's a lot of oil and a lot of flavor coming off that wrapper, and just this nice thick plumes of yellow smoke coming out.
Yellow.
When I take a draw and blow out, yeah.
Yellow like the
It's-
water that I was drinking.
Mine's not yellow, man.
As far as the pairing, I'm gonna give the pairing a 9 as well,
Ooh.
because even with the depth of flavor and a lot of flavor on the cigar, being that medium plus, medium full body, and the whiskey being as strong as it is, it doesn't overpower the palate. You still get a little bit of sweetness on the cigar and the whiskey. You still get spice from both, different types of spices between the two, but they don't cancel each other out. They do complement each other, but they don't overwhelm you.
Yeah. Nook, you ready? You want me to go or?
I was actually just gonna go 8, 9, 9. No explanation.
8 on the whiskey, 9 on the cigar, 9 on the
You know,
pairing.
8 with the whiskey, like
Yeah.
just it's a mental thing because like we kind of touched on it earlier with
Yeah.
the whole toasted thing.
Yeah, it kind of fucks.
I
me, like,
was
you're-
I was expecting I stare at that bottle every day sitting at my bar at home.
every day.
Like when I walk by, I see the toasted and I'm like,
Damn,
so
that was haunting you.
it actually was. I don't know if it's like a mental thing with me now because, like you said, I'm not really getting the toasted. I get it from the cigar. I don't get it from that. So
Yeah, but based on the explanation, like Nate
Yeah.
reviewed it, I mean, it makes more
Yeah.
sense, right? It brings out some of that stuff. But toasted barrel. I'm thinking like there's gonna be that. Like
I didn't know what I
toasted flavor.
expected, but I don't know. Just wasn't toasted in my mind. But I think when I did talk to Rishi, I think but April's tomorrow. So he's supposed
It's
to
in,
be
like,
getting
3 hours.
some new stuff in, but supposedly there's going to be another round with Eastern Kill.
So another barrel
So,
pick that he's got
yep.
going on with them.
Yep.
That's neat.
So I'll have to snag a couple of those next time.
For sure. Okay, so I'll do the whiskey. I'm gonna give it an 8 ish. It's a barrel proof. It doesn't kick you like I thought a 62.7 would. I think I've said it earlier in the first part of this episode is a little too corn for me. It's a little too corn heavy for me. It's not something that I would go back to necessarily. I wouldn't drink. And so 8 or 7.5, 8.
Was it better with the 1 cube of ice you put in it?
Yes, with a little dash of water, and then now I've got that 1 ice cube in there, standard ice cube, nothing like the big ice cubes. If you guys didn't see it, it's not like the big block or big ice ball.
Standard shoots it out of the refrigerator.
Standard 19.
Yeah.
I don't know, probably late 90s fridge that came with the house. That I have to remember because like the tray in there, like if I don't hit the bar back up, it's just the whole freezer's full of ice. Like
Nice.
it's supposed. No, not nice. It's not good. Got all the ice in the world. And so 7.5, 8 on that because again, it's a little too corn. But yeah, with the ice cube now that's diluted in there, it's chilled a little bit. It does lose a little bit of that corn. Also, my palate has been kind of subdued a little bit from drinking the 62.7. You know what I mean? So that's just going to happen when I feel like, on my second glass halfway through it. But yeah, I think it got a little bit better in my opinion because it took away some of the characteristics that I wasn't caring for from this. If this truly is a $30 to $50 bottle, right? You said sub 50. Yeah. So I mean, $40 to $50 bottle to have a barrel strength at that, pretty phenomenal in my opinion for a price. So if you guys are looking for something to try, it's different, and you're able to get your hands on something like this or from Eastern Kill, like I said, definitely check them out. I think it's kind of a cool concept. I love the topographical map. Thank you, Daniel. It's kind of cool. I don't know what any of that means because there's no like really depths on there, but obviously it changes a lot, like most lakes. Which lake is that?
I'm assuming it's Michigan.
Yep.
Because we're
Right. I get that. Just I feel like it's kind of a more narrow lake. I need states around it. I'm not very smart.
Chicago would be over here.
Yeah, I'm familiar with the U.S. map. The cigar, I'm gonna give it a 9+ for sure. I'm loving this, and not just because Nook's here, not because I like Christian necessarily, but you guys are putting out some killer products, and this is something when you put out something and you end up calling it a 25th anniversary. That's a bold move. It's a tough one to really, what blend do you pick to put that? I mean, quarter century. I mean, Rocky Patel just did that. Right. Rocky just put out his quarter century, which, is a good cigar as well. Not to compare the two just because they are kind of close in release. but this is something I would expect this type of a cigar from the CLE brand and Christian's name on it, his initials, and what your company is about, all around, just, and even on there you have Honduras, and you have what's on the side of the box there.
Yep, CLE 25th anniversary, Dunley, Honduras.
Yeah, so I mean,
So, where it's made, and
you're throwing it out there. There's a lot of, and it's just really classy, and I love it.
And that was the whole big thing of like trying to, because I did the cigar retail side for about 16 years,
Right.
and it, like when we started with this company, like I've known Christian since the late 90s, and so I'm very familiar. I've smoked every single thing that he's made. And when we started this company, like, it was the whole big thing of almost like changing the culture. Like when people come into a store, they don't typically ask, what do you have in Honduran cigars?
Right.
It's very rare. And before it was, you'd come in, people only knew like Punch, like Classic, Hoyo, those were the Honduran. They were the big cigars back then, like
Sure.
Excalibur, like stuff like that. And then Christian came along, like he started the whole full-bodied cigar, like the original stuff that he came out with in like the late 90s. We actually found a box in Miami, and we cracked it open. This was a couple years ago. That thing was still full-bodied.
Yeah.
And that was like the first generation Cuban Corojo seed, which Christian's dad regrew that strain for the 20-year. That's what Nate and I were talking about. That's what we use for the binder leaf. Gives it that unique flavor.
I love that 20-year.
Yeah. I remember that story. Yeah, that's good. So 9 plus 9.5 on this cigar. I really think it's a cool, just a all around great project. The pairing, I'm not saying they battle each other, but based on I don't think so. They stand up to each other. That's one nice thing about it. They're not. I don't think they're taken away from each other. The whiskey and the cigar. However, I think that I would enjoy something probably different with this cigar than the bottle we're drinking. So I look at it as the pairing.
Would you use something like sweeter or like lower proof?
Not just get away from the corn. I don't. So sweet, like
so. The corn is definitely.
I've got a rye in my bag. We said Nook would take the rest of it home after we had a couple pours. I got
what
a rye.
Rye do you have?
Wild Turkey 101.
Yeah, we tried basic rye. Before I finish this, so I'll finish this glass here. So we'll start part 2 with that. I got over like about a half cigar left here, but yeah, I'll try that. I was gonna say maybe it would be.
Because I've smoked this at home with Angel's Envy rye, and then also Dad's Hat. I've told you that.
Yeah.
I gotta find a bottle of that. It won like Craft Whiskey of the Year. It's a Pennsylvanian rye, and I think it's awesome. Tom came over to my house. We tried it back in October. And he's like, "Wow, really?" It was recommended at a cigar bar in Pittsburgh. I'd never heard of it, seen it before, and it was different. Yeah. Or even like a Canadian rye.
Yeah, I mean, I think this would be. I mean, you could do a wheat. I mean, I wouldn't mind it if I didn't kill the bottle of 107 I had. I do Antique 107 with it. You know what I mean? Something like that. Maybe a Willet product. I don't know. Which, we were going to have Willet tonight. At one point, but based on the reschedule, we don't, which is fine. We're going to get Jason on with hopefully Willet product here in the future. So yeah, I'd say like again, number wise, 8, 7.5 for the pairing. It's just it doesn't overpower each other. It doesn't take away from each other. It's just not my favorite, but not dogging the whiskey by any means. It's just it's just it is what it is. So with that being said, unless Dustin, you want to throw your ratings out there. Yeah, the whiskey. What'd you think of the whiskey? 8.5. Fair. All right. With that being said, we're gonna round out part 1. Part 2. What did I say? Stop complaining and get focused. something about that. And then Nate had, it was funny when I said that to Nate, I said, that's the topic tonight. He's like, that's kind of what I said at one point.
It was last week. Yeah, it was my part of my closing remark.
So he can throw that out there as a kind of a different phrase of it, which is it's funny because it's accurate. Patreon.com/BourbonBS podcast. You guys can contribute. Again, we did our first monthly raffle last week on the episode. It was the H. Upman 2 whiskey glasses and Sean Hurley, which he is in California. Yeah, so he's in California, and it was a random drawing here in the garage between during the intermission between part 1 and part 2. So we'll do that again here shortly, and again in 2021 we'll get some more T-shirts out there. We appreciate all the patience on and the support, really, guys. You guys are amazing. And then also Tinderbox at Easton in Columbus, Ohio. They will be getting this. Tinderbox at Easton will be getting the CLE 25th anniversary here soon. I'll make sure to get that on the social media so you guys know when it lands and you can get your hands on this phenomenal cigar. And then also Altus USA, like I said, the Monte Cristo white series here. But I think we might be smoking more Eiroa products, CLE products for part 2. But thank you, Altus. Thank you, Josh Bentley, who's been a recurring guest on the show as well. He was the one that provided some of these raffle prizes for the Patreon customers, which is fantastic. Like with Altus, the H. Upman glasses. We have some lighters, cutters that'll be coming out as well. We have just some cool prizes for you guys as Patreon supporters. And then BS Cigar Company, the gold and silver are available, and we appreciate the support. Seem to be getting more and more popular, which is fantastic. So we appreciate that and the support from the BS Cigar Company. Guys, happy Whiskey Wednesday. Stay tuned if you guys are listening live. If you're not listening live, check it out. You're listening to the audio, check it out live on Facebook and also YouTube every Wednesday night around 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Pretty much like clockwork. We appreciate you guys tuning in, and that way you can actually contribute to the conversation. But if you're not, tune in to part 2 here. And if you're listening live, make sure you guys kind of stay tuned during the intermission. We usually have a little bit, and then throw up some questions for the part 2. Guys, happy Whiskey Wednesday. Cheers.
Cheers.
Enjoy your week. Clear.
Do we want to do another raffle?
Sure. You pick the prize, I'm picking the head. Everyone stare at Nook on the screen.
Fire it up.
Lighter cutter. Lighter. Sure. All right. I think these are all the same.
It was a little bit on. Yeah. Did I say 17 for that? Is this still live too?
Yeah, you're still live video.
Awesome. Rock on.
You guys got anything else coming out?
What's that?
You guys got anything else coming out? No.
Yeah, we've got Asylum 9. That'll come out. The this was new. I think we'll talk about this, but this just came out. Not many stores got it. We're just doing like these little small batch things. Martes.
You got 10 packs of them? I think
Yeah.
that's one of them.
So that's like Friday the 13th, like pretty much like in Latin America, but their unlucky day is Tuesday the 13th. So Martes is
See, for
Tuesday.
me, 13 is actually my lucky number. So
You buy those individually, or you buy them?
They literally
we just got them into the shop yesterday.
they're pretty reasonably priced too.
And yeah, I think we're going to sell them by the 5-pack. I don't know that we're going to do them individually, but that's going to be up to Brian.
But the 5-pack is what?
I don't know. I didn't see the price sheet.
30, I think maybe like 35, 40. I
Okay.
think. Something along, I think it's right along that line. But with it actually gives you the story about Tuesday the 13th on the back of the pack too. So like that's their like unlucky day, and it's pretty much stay away from anything that is high risk. They're talking about actually like marriage, traveling, and just staying at home. So, that's pretty much how it is. So, like, we did a Friday the 13th cigar last year, and they were just kind of throwing it around. And Tuesday the 13th it's in a couple weeks. And so we decided to do that one. And I think we have one more an actual Friday the 13th later on this year. So we'll do another run. So that's going to almost be like a thing for us. It's pretty much what that is. It's stuff that we've had in our factory. And the first time we did it, I think we did 4 sizes. This one is just 2. And then, it's pretty much when it's gone, it's gone. So.
Yeah, when those came in yesterday, I was like, "Ooh, I may have to pick up one of those." And Steve's like, "I don't even know how much they are yet, man. Just calm down."
Nate gets really excited when something like a package comes in.
Yeah.
All right, so we are going to do
a lighter.
What do we got? Lighter.
So this is one of the Romeo and Julieta Reserve Real Nicaragua.
It's a soft J.
I know. This, so if you remember, so the regular Reserve Real has that red band on it. The Reserve Real Nicaragua's got that blue band. So this lighter has that kind of blue,
very bold blue. It's very beautiful,
almost like a flake to it.
Yeah,
very shiny.
4-burner.
4-burner. Yep.
Nice. Okay. Let's see here, Dustin.
And it's got a punch cutter on the bottom.
Vertigo, I believe.
Yeah.
It's Vertigo lighter. Dustin, so excuse me, jeez. We have of our patrons currently pick a number, Dustin, between 1 and 19.
Okay. 17.
And we did say last week that you can win twice.
Can. So number 17 is Tanya Priest.
Tanya, all right.
So Tanya, I know, so
Local?
she's local, so we can get that to her. But Tanya, thank you very much. Tanya was she? Let's see. Yeah, someone text her. She has been a patron since November of 2019.
That's when I think we first started the Patreon.
And she's and Tanya's a sweetheart. She is a local to Columbus, Ohio. She is a prime example. So at first she was doing $5 a month as a patron. And then starting in March of 2020, she put a custom amount in. So again, we have tiers, $5, $10, and $25 tiers. She has been doing $30 a month.
Wow.
$30 a month.
Thank you, Tanya.
So after hundreds of dollars, you get a lighter.
Wait, didn't she also get a shirt?
She got a shirt. I'm just kidding. And I know she's a big fan of the podcast. She's actually been on the podcast. So again, that's one of those things. Like obviously she believes in what we're doing. And I appreciate that. Tanya, like I said, is a fantastic person. And since March of 2020, so a full year now.
Yeah.
She's been doing $30 a month. So
I think I got an asylum backpack I can throw in there.
Really?
I think I got one of those in my car.
Might have a bonus prize. Might have a bonus prize. All right. So get on patreon.com/BourbonBS podcast, and you too could get a several $100 lighter.
Yeah, we still have a couple lighters left. It's
fun. I appreciate it. I'm making light of it. Yeah, you're right.
Couple lighters. We got 2 more sets of the whiskey glasses with the cutout for the cigar, and then we also got one of those closed back cutters, the spring loaded blades.
Yeah, those are sweet.
That one, I think that one's either Romeo or Monte Cristo.
Yeah.
I
So-
think Romeo. That's a Romeo one. If I remember looking at it last week.
It's fantastic. So congrats, Tanya. We'll start part 2 here and get going. Me? My turn.
I was clearing the silence for the start.
No, I shared my Instagram post in our company group chat, and Christian just asked, "Who is that?" It's like, it's me.
He didn't know who you were?
No, he didn't know where the picture came from. Like if I just took it from somewhere. I
New
said,
number,
No.
who this?
I said, I'm on the Bourbon and BS podcast in Columbus right now
Yeah.
on Facebook. So jump on.
Jump on. Yeah, please do. Welcome back to the Bourbon and BS podcast, everyone. This is episode 162, part 2. I'm Steve Crane. I have Nate Hale here on the podcast and the panel. We got Dustin Bovey back in the garage. We're happy to have him back. We got a live studio audience, and the guest of honor is Nook Mercer for the 3rd time.
Yes, sir. Well,
Third?
no, 4th. I did the Sunday one remote from home.
That's right, you did.
It was a fun time.
That
Yeah.
was a fun time.
Nothing like
That went longer than I thought.
Yeah, we had to put a stop to that.
nothing like just rolling out of bed and throwing.
Rolling out of bed. It was
Throw-
in the evening.
It was like 8:00. I was watching
At
like
night.
I was watching a game or a movie or something in my room.
Something.
They're like, "Hey, you want to be on?" I'm like, "All right, well, let me throw like a sweatshirt on,
Thank
grab
you for that.
the bar stool, grab the bottle of booze, and then
I have a
yeah,
feeling that wasn't your first drink that day.
actually it was.
Jesus.
No, because I had to go drive to Pittsburgh the next day,
Did you?
which I drove directly to my hotel.
I
I was slightly hungover.
Slightly. Slightly.
Yeah, after doing that Sunday check-in, we put a limit on how long we do the check-ins.
Yeah. Anyways, so Nook, thank you for being here. If you guys are just tuning in, I want to thank our sponsors, Tinderbox at Easton in Columbus, Ohio. They're going to be getting the featured cigar tonight from part 1, the CLE 25th anniversary, which has yet to hit the shelves in our area that I know of, but they'll be hitting the shelves here soon. Check out the Tinderbox at Easton Instagram page, Facebook page. You'll get notified when this hits the shelves. Thank you, Tinderbox. Also, Altadis USA, who I do have some Monte Cristo White series here, but we are going to be smoking some more CLE Eiroa Asylum products here going forward in part 2 as well. But we did have that CLE 25th anniversary. But Altadis USA, they actually, so Josh hooked it up where we have some raffle prizes for our Patreon customers. That is our supporters. That's something that they've gone above and beyond with their sponsorship. They do an annual sponsorship along with the second featured cigar, like that Monte Cristo White series, along with some of this stuff. So we had Sean Hurley, who is a $25 tier member out in California. We appreciate the support, Sean. He won the whiskey glasses. I'll be shipping out tomorrow. And then tonight we did another raffle of a Vertigo 4-burner Romeo y Julieta Reserva Real Nicaragua, beautiful blue lighter that went to Tanya Priest, who is actually a Columbus local as well. So that's a lot easier to get to her. But we appreciate the support. She has been a supporter since almost the very beginning, over a year, and she's been a custom amount, $30 a month tier member. So she's her own tier, which I expect nothing less out of Tanya because I know her. But we appreciate that support. So she won the lighter tonight. We're doing random drawings. Not going to be every week, but we're going to be kicking it off with a couple more raffle ones at the very least once a month and get them out to you. So go on patreon.com/BourbonBS podcast and help us out. Keep this thing going, and we have some rewards for you. BS Cigar Company, thank you very much. They're cool too. One of them is.
Does it taste like corn?
Which one? The
The
BS
BS?
cigar? No, we stayed away from the corn.
All right.
All right, so part 2, this is Beyond the BS. This is where we get into the life topic. This is what happens when you have some drinks and cigars with some friends in the garage. And tonight it is quit complaining and get focused, or as Nate said last week, what?
Stop bitching, start doing.
Related. A little more harsh.
Well, that was part of my. I think that's how I started my closing remark last week.
Yeah. And that's a good t-shirt.
Yes,
It's
it
a
is.
catcher. Hey, you said the rye, right? Let's do the Wild Turkey 1-1 rye because I still have some of this CLE 25th
I've
anniversary.
got less than you guys do on that cigar, so thank you.
You were about done with it. This is something. So I'm, again, going into this, I feel like some things are leveling out a little bit in the world, even though you just wait 5 minutes and something else is happening. And sometimes it's related to what happened in 2020. It hasn't. It's been lingering.
See if you can do the tin.
Are you going to try it out of the tin?
Yeah.
I'm drinking out of this.
Yeah. Try the tin because you know what it tastes like, right?
Yeah.
No, or
Yeah.
you
I've had it before. Yeah.
You had the 101 rye?
Yeah.
All right.
Some Thanksgiving.
Not on the podcast. We have not actually featured this bottle on the podcast.
So I think it's going to taste different in a glass.
Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that kind of like makes it way more subtle.
Yep.
Just immediately. It doesn't have to sit in there very long.
Right.
So yeah, Nook's got these tin glasses. I have a tin mug from the last time he was on with Nate.
Yep.
Not me.
Different time.
Different 8.
But that was when we had the Birdie Brown's bourbon.
And they've actually added 2 more bourbon lines to
Jeez.
that one already.
And those are all owed to the women in the
Yeah.
bourbon industry that don't get enough shout out, which is fantastic. So that's something that I'm surprised hasn't caught on in the current climate that we're in, as far as this type of stuff. Very under the radar
It's
type
like,
of thing.
I love their bottles that they did with that old
Yeah.
style
Apothecary type bottle.
Yep. And now it's
Just pour right over Nook's lap there. Perfect.
and all the bottles are different
Thank you.
too. One of them, I believe it was one of the ryes, has like it's a blue bottle.
Mhm.
But I know Nate has been in the works trying to get it placed in Ohio,
Oh, nice.
which is a toff move.
Yeah, Ohio is one of the toughest.
Because we talked about before when he was saying he would with the the New Holland Dragon's Milk bourbon.
Right.
It was available, then they pulled it. So it's been, I guess Ohio is a beast to deal with in terms of
Both spirits,
getting liquor.
both
Yeah.
spirits and cigars, as you know too.
Because I remember I used to find the beer barrel bourbon because I love it. I used to find it in the last call stores because the state of Ohio's got a weird rule where you have to sell so many bottles in order for them to keep it on the shelf in the state of Ohio.
So next time I'm on, because I thought this was supposed to be the other person's showcase, I have a bottle.
You're holding on to that.
Yeah, a little bit. So I have a bottle of pretty much, it was the last one that was out there because I got it actually right from the source. I have the Dragon's Milk bourbon barrel, the barreled and bond, which did not come out of, I think, the 2 pub stores.
Okay.
So I have a bottle of that.
I-
Hopefully that I'll have something new to announce maybe next time when I'm on.
All right.
And I got another one. They started making small batch craft spirit, little drops here and there. I sent you one of the pictures.
Yeah, you did.
And I don't know much on it. It was probably one of the best bourbons I've ever had. It was chimed in around $100 for the bottle.
Really?
It was called like something mash. It was sweet. It was amazing.
Not Monster Mash. It's not Halloween.
So
I still have some of the New Holland Hatter Royale.
oh, nice.
I still have some of that.
They got some, it's just a cool story with those guys and the way they make their stuff. But
Move that bottle a little bit. I'll just say it on the mic. Yeah, so I can see the levels. No, you can just push it up. That's fine. There you go. Yeah, good stuff. That was good stuff.
Yeah, good stuff coming out of
They're doing some lot. Yeah, and also he's doing some really cool products with the tin.
Yep.
Yeah. So we'll have to have that feature. In fact, invite him on the community page. So if you guys are on Facebook, you're watching this live on Facebook. If you're listening on the audio or you're listening on YouTube, if you have a Facebook account, which I know is not for everyone anymore, but I think there are a lot of people that are on there. We have about 1,400 plus members on the Bourbon and BS community page. Just request it, look it up, and request it, and then I will approve you. I think I've maybe declined like 1 or 2 that I can tell are just like spam.
Obvious scammers.
Yeah. Sean? No, I'm going to see if I can get him on there. Find that guy a job. If you guys didn't listen to part 1, we had I think a gentleman from Pakistan that was actually trying to look for a job. He put out his contact number, so you check the feed if you guys are hiring in Pakistan or elsewhere. Check it out and see. That was the first time. So stop complaining and get focused, or stop bitching and do something, I think is what you said, right?
Yeah.
I usually kind of get into this. What do you guys take from that when I say that? Stop complaining and get focused. Do you guys have any initial reactions to that statement with where we're at, with what your day-to-day is, coming back into 2021, where believe it or not, we're at the end of the first quarter of 2021, and it feels like we're still in 2020 to me, to a point. But stop complaining. This can go anywhere. Like I just say, like, what is your knee-jerk reaction? I'm not trying to frame it with that stuff from a political standpoint. I'm just like, where are we at?
You know what? Because it comes up when I'm traveling all the time.
Yeah.
Like I hit the road last June, and so.
And it wasn't the same.
No, but now it's just it's gotten old. But the thing is now, like, I travel 4 different states. And
what are the states?
I do
Ohio,
Michigan,
obviously.
Michigan, Ohio, Western PA, and Kentucky.
Okay.
So I cut through Indiana. But anyways, the thing is now it's just like, listen, if you want to go into certain places, just put the damn mask on. It kind of goes along with it. It's like, dude, shut up. It's like, shut up. You know what you have to do. But then once you sit down, you can take the damn thing off. Like, and that's brought up all the time. You know what to do. And it's
a year later, and it reminds me of, with that being said, what you're talking about with the mask and stuff like that. I've noticed that not only in my environment, the day-to-day in my life, but I've noticed it just going out to different restaurants and stuff like that, or wherever it's at, or also people that don't go out anymore. A lot of things haven't changed. And then we went full circle. Now that you have the vaccine out and all this stuff, now the vaccine is the big topic of conversation, right? Yeah. And if you have people that if they have the vaccine, they're like, well, I'm good now. I'm like, you got to listen to the follow-up there. Like they're actually saying you're not, but like you're less, but you should still wear a mask. And so, you're old and gray. But it's like now we have more people coming into the shop that Nate and I work at, that they're like, it's like a full blown, it's a year later. And now it's like, oh no, I forgot my mask, or I didn't know I had to. We have to wear a mask. You guys have to put it on. And it's like either vaccine related or not. It's just like you said, they're tired of it. Right. I have noticed that people that complain the most, then they are some of the most hypocritical people.
Yep.
I made the comment, I think it was last week on the podcast, where it was like the fact that, you talk to people that are, if you look at, they're either full blown like mask everywhere and don't leave the house. Maybe not don't leave the house people, but they're full blown mask, vaccine, everything. But during 2020, it's like, hey, why do you have a tan? Well, I just came back from Florida. I mean, obviously,
right?
Like they don't, I took vacation. You're like, you haven't been to a restaurant, but you went to Florida. And like, well, I went to like places that we trusted, and like,
I know people like that.
What does that mean?
Right.
You trusted a strange restaurant in a different state that you've never been to before. I don't think there's a Yelp review that are like, they're all vaccinated, which didn't exist during 2020. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
They seem safe. They're nice people.
Yeah.
You guys can stop here and have a nice burrito. They won't go to a bar
or a restaurant. They won't go out. But yeah, like you said, I know people like that. Or I couldn't be around certain people.
And then they go to Florida.
Because I travel. But I'm like, didn't you just get back from vacation?
Florida.
You took that extra unemployment money, went to Florida, came back.
Thank you for saying Florida.
But I can't.
It's fucking Florida.
But I can't come over and visit because I travel all the time. I'm like, that makes no sense to me.
Makes no sense.
But
All right.
it's just like, but then somebody like
Not trying to get-
myself that's been around, like I've just been traveling. Like to me, I've just become dull of the whole thing. But I have noticed now, like when I go to gas, like doing that 7-hour trip today,
We appreciate that effort, by the way.
and like going through like 2 different states, like, but like I stop at like a rest stop or something. It's half and half. You go into a gas station, like I've been guilty of, but I walk in, I'm like, do I
Yeah.
have to go back out to my car? They're like, no. But it's just like
I got a stack of masks in my trunk just because I know I'm going to
and
forget.
I've noticed restaurants too. You walk up to the door, and I totally forgot. Like I walked, over to let's say like Founders or a certain place. Like I walk up to the door, I walk in, I'm like, shit, forgot. They're like, hold on, walk back, hand me a mask. Like, okay, now you can come in. I sit down. They're like, okay, that's it. That's all you need for it.
I love the people that come in and they don't even want to like buy anything, but they're like, "You get any extra masks?" I'm like, "No." I'm like, "Oh,
Literally,
did you need anything? No."
literally had someone on Saturday call the shop and ask if we sold masks.
Right.
Like we're a cigar shop.
Go to Speedway, get it
And-
for a quarter.
We're a cigar shop, and you're calling
Again,
a
a
cigar
year
shop.
later.
Last year, those things were $10.
Yeah, exactly.
What I don't like is that I did buy 100 disposable masks, however many 100 days, and went back to reorder them, and the reviews are different 100 days later,
Are they really?
and they weren't good. Here I am, I'm like, I feel like it smells, but no, it's probably just like I'm not used to wearing a mask. Like these are toxic. I'm like, fuck, I've been wearing these for 100 days, man. Like who? I should have got an email from Amazon. You know what I mean? Like it's garbage. I predict, just side note, and I get no credit for this other than bragging rights. There was a time where you go into a restaurant, you were bringing up, it's like smoking or non, mask or non. I think there'll be a mask or non, and they will be the same bullshit things where it'll be like this half wall between, like that section where like the smoke's billowing over into the non-smoking section.
No, the bar is going to separate.
And now it's going to be like, it's like, well, this is the mask section. This is the non-mask section. And like, I can see you from across the half wall at Frisch's Big Boy. You know what I mean? I think this is going to be a thing, when you actually have this. Where it's like, you're like, no, I'm good. I'm vaccinated. I have a mask. Well, I'm vaccinated. I don't have a mask. I'm like, where are we at? How's the buffet? Which is good thing. Yeah, breakfast buffet. Yeah, they're going to like those sneeze guards are going to have to be just like bulletproof. They're going to be bulletproof. They're not. The sneeze guards. Jeez. Chipotle, they're reaching over. Like, I want that one. Like,
Yeah,
why are
it
you
was
pointing
like,
at the sour cream? They know what the sour cream is.
Like Michigan is a lot stricter than like Ohio. Like the
They-
last
Really?
time I was out here, like I was hanging out in Dublin with Ken out
Mhm.
there, and we went to
Tinderbox in Dublin.
Yep.
Yep.
Went to the
Great shop.
bar next to his shop. Shit,
Mhm.
I can't remember what that place is. He always makes fun of it. So then we just went there to go grab some food, and then it turned out to be like 3 hours later. And I'm like, "What's the rules here?" He's like, "Yeah, 50%." I'm like,
What does that mean? What's the 50% rule? I
I'm
don't
like,
understand that.
I'm like, well, it's shoulder to shoulder. He's like, yeah. So I asked the girl who was waiting on us. I said, so you guys get tickets or something? Yeah, we've got a handful.
Fines?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but everybody comes here, so they just let us slide. We paid,
Yeah.
and it's just funny though. Like being up in Traverse City, in Michigan, like we're supposed to. I think now we're at 50%. We were rocking the 20%. We inherited the Ohio curfew, which is cool.
You're welcome.
So, but I went and grabbed
Freaks come out at night, man.
yes, sir. So
And the-
So do viruses,
and the
apparently.
I had my hungover breakfast yesterday morning,
Nice.
and
What'd you have?
corned beef hash.
That's a good hangover breakfast right there.
But it's actually everything was fresh. But this place is, I guess, has been there for like 70 years. But it was fresh corned beef hash
Yeah.
off the skillet.
Ah,
It's one of those things where the thing is right in front of you, like the skillet, almost like Waffle House style. But
hey,
Um,
you're not talking it up when you talk about Waffle
but
House. just so
then-
you know.
I actually love
See,
Waffle
my
House.
buddy-
No, I'm not saying you don't like Waffle
But
House,
no,
but
but
that's
it's
not
a-
like a
no,
bragging rights.
No,
thing.
it's like the style. It's old school, like the
Diner.
My
diner style.
at my friend
Diner.
Yeah.
at my friend's restaurant, he'll actually serve you the corned beef hash in the skillet.
There you go.
Oh, nice.
He does breakfast in
Say
a
what it
cast
is.
iron
People
skillet.
that are
What
in
do you-
Columbus area.
If you're in the Columbus area, Walters at the
There you go.
Manacor
There you
in
go.
German Village.
I will go there because that stuff is awesome. So I will also eat corned beef hash out of a can too. So
Do they serve it in a can?
there's a couple restaurants in Ann Arbor where they say on the menu, it says best corned beef hash from a can. I was like, yes, put 2 fried eggs on top. I am good to go. Make it a little bit extra crispy for me. Let's rock and roll.
Side note, and we are not talking about the topic at this point, which I'm okay with. We're gonna get back on there. But I was at a restaurant in Old Hilliard, and the item I ordered, which was chili, best in town. I feel like
that's where I live. It's like there's not a whole lot.
When you put best in a can,
Yeah, that's Hormel.
if you're beating Hormel, I'm just saying, like, it's like
For corned
I feel
beef
like there should be
hash?
better qualifiers here when you put that on the menu. Like, you can't just be like best in a can or best in town when it's a population, like it's a
Well,
suburb of suburb.
Best out of a can. When I think about corned beef hash, I think
Dog
of
food.
Hormel.
Oh.
Looks like dog. It
You
does look like dog food.
You
But
say
hey,
you say
but
corned beef hash in a can. I think, like,
but you know what?
how the
It-
Grinch stole Christmas,
but
the Who hash cans. Like,
but at least they're honest. Like you're not expecting like legit corned beef hash made from scratch. They put on the menu. This shit's from a can.
I'm thinking
So-
of the movie The Elf, where he takes the girl from the retail store, and it's like the best coffee in the world or whatever in New York City, and then he takes her there, and this is the best in the world. 'Cause he's that naive. There's no basis. I don't think they were actually like. There's no like awards or like a star with a footnote of like when they got best in town or best.
Usually, if
in
it says
can.
like best in town or something like that, my experience with all my travel, it's usually shit.
I'm just
a
saying.
lot
I
of-
think it's.
I will tell you, if you
This
go to
is
Walters and
derailed.
order his corned beef hash or or
what?
his
But it's good-
Reuben,
it's good
he's got the
conversation.
best corned beef in
Every
Central
time
Ohio.
I've been on this, it's gotten derailed.
Yeah, so if
100%.
Walters put best whatever, and then like there's an asterisk, and at the bottom the footnote, it's like when they have like gluten free, you know what I mean, like all that stuff, like fan favorite or whatever. It's like Nate Hill approved. I feel like that's what that would be.
See, that would.
Oh
be
no,
sweet,
no,
though.
no. He's
that?
he's been on the news before. He's been on the news before, and he
All
Quit
right.
complaining and get focused.
even so,
See,
God
that's
damn
why
it.
we derailed it. So now we can say,
I'm
be
not
quiet, get
complaining. I
focused,
love
or
it.
whatever.
do we have
it
a
is.
second cigar?
Yeah.
All right, so
When I hear the topic,
here we
Steve,
go. Thank you. Bring it back.
the first thing that popped in my mind was armchair quarterback.
Right.
You got those people on Sunday or Saturday, depending on whether they're watching
2020, whatever.
pro or college, and they're sitting there bitching at something that another player did. Usually it's the quarterback, like, oh, that was a horrible throw. It's like, all right, let's see you do better. And I like the one. I hear it every couple of years. Oh, thank you. Ooh,
You haven't had that.
no, I've never seen it. I hear it every couple of years when they have the Olympics, whether it be summer or winter, doesn't matter. And I love the idea. Whenever they do an Olympic event, you have all the Olympic athletes, and then you have just one regular dude that has to do the same event. So that way everyone else who's watching is like, oh, okay. Yeah, the actual professionals, they did this. All right, they finished the 100-meter dash in
The
under 10
Olympics are
seconds.
amateurs. I mean, that's the-
Meanwhile, Joe over here is doing it in like 15, 16 seconds. Like, have the regular dudes. That way there's a comparison. So all the people that are actually sitting there going, I could do that. No, you couldn't. Because if you could, you'd be out there.
It's fair. It's fair. I think the stop complaining and get focused. For me, it's a lot of, we were already there with the whole Yelp culture that we had going way back. Like, we're not way back. I mean, we're talking like 5 years, right? It was one of those things. It's like you give everyone a voice, and it's just like any other comment card before that, right? You don't hear from the positive people. You really have to strive. My previous career life was, in the moving and storage, and we had comment cards, and we enticed our staff to really push it. You do a good job, you get 5 stars on these categories, and you get incentives. We call them truck. It was moving stores, so we call them truck bucks. So, like, so in the audience, I'm looking at like Shannon and Dan. You guys were a crew. You guys know you killed it or whatever. At one point, you handed them the comment card. This is technology, and then we took that away from you guys because if you did a shit job, then you're not going to hand them a comment card. I mean, we get it. We were slow, but we got there. It's like a Yelp review. You know what I mean? It's like you're like, no, not you, but the positive ones. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, like technology just really just screwed over the people that were hustling. But it was one of those things like you wanted feedback, so you put it out there, right? But it was the rule of thumb is that the negative people are very, very vocal. Mm-hmm. And all they do is complain. They're the loudest. We had a podcast with a topic of what the fuck is your problem?
Yep, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, you were thinking about that.
Yep.
I figured you might be. Those are the people, and one of the ones was because at the time, so the neighbor at Tinderbox Easton is Fido Irish Pub, which we do events with. Great place in the Columbus area, and they opened up a new location in Dublin. And I remember this review, and it was this person that they just like went on this whole long, several paragraph, really long rant of what was wrong. And then they were like, and this is our third and last time. And I'm like, you complain about every time you were in there. And you didn't even talk to the people that were working. You waited till you left and you put it out there. So that was like, stop complaining, get focused. Same thing in life. I am one to, I'm not going to really focus on necessarily my life, and I'm not hiding from it. I'm not going to shy away from it, but it's like when things happen to you, you feel like a victim. And I think, 2020 was a big aspect of that. Everyone felt like a victim, is out of their hands and all that stuff. And everyone took an opinion and they complained. No matter what side you were on with this, you complained about whatever it was. You complained about people that weren't like-minded. You were complaining about what the government was doing locally, statewide, nationally. You're complaining about whatever the fuck it was. But I don't think it was just because they took that away where you couldn't actually go out and do something about it other than vote. But it was like that's all you did. You just complained. You were unhappy. You didn't do anything about it. You didn't. And there's something you can do where we've talked about it before on these episodes where you get to that point where you're like, I wish I exercised more. Okay, what are you doing tomorrow? Well, I'm not going to exercise, but I'm going to do this other stuff. I'm just going to. You're gonna, like as Nate said, you're going to bitch about it. Daniel in the audience says, "Don't judge me," but he also is the one that actually has lost how many pounds? 50 pounds.
Nice.
In the last since September. So I'm okay with, you can complain to a point, but if you're doing something about it, that's the other aspect of it. So it's like there's a two-step process. You're upset about something. It might be out of your control. It could be in your control. I think if it's in your control, it's worse because that's on you. When it's out of your control and things change and something gets, the rug, you lose a job, you lose a relationship, the doctor gives you a prognosis and you're like, oh shit, I knew I shouldn't have eaten that for the last 10, 20, 30 years. But so now I gotta change. Now I gotta
White Castle.
Oh, easy.
Don't throw out potential sponsors like White Castle.
I love White Castle.
Who doesn't? Sliders, a lot of salt.
But it's so much easier to bitch about something than actually go out and do it.
Well, because we talked about accountability on a previous episode as well, and I think that's one of those things is that you don't hold yourself accountable,
right?
And there are other factors, right? You talk about diet and stuff like that. You eat that,
it's a whole lot worse now since 2020.
That's part of the reason I wanted to talk about this is that stop complaining, get focused, because I am at that point now where I found myself in the last year, let's call it that I had my priorities in a certain area and I lost myself. I complained about shit. I got sucked into the fucking rabbit hole of 2020. But also it was one of those things that when things were happening outside of my factors, I thought I was taking care of it. I thought I had that, but I also, on the flip side of it all, I have now found myself again where I'm happy with it. Just put that anywhere. I'm not saying it's easy. I think that when I say get focused, it's not about like changing the things you can't change. I'm not saying that. It's about just get back at it and get focused again on controlling things that you can control. And it's also stop not enjoying yourself.
Well, someone had sent me a comment personally. The way part of our, not as a whole necessarily, but part of our culture, the reason people complain so much is if they complain enough, depending on what it is, if they complain enough, they get rewarded for it.
No.
Like if you go to a restaurant and complain loud enough, maybe you get a free meal. Or if you complain about a clothing brand, maybe you get a discount or something. Like because we reward people bitching.
No, we allow. I don't think reward is the thing. I think we allow. I think allow is the more proper term.
Okay.
By allowing,
we do allow it, but there are some aspects where people feel they get rewarded for that complaining.
Yeah, that's fair. I think you allow it to the point that you won't give them everything. You're not going to give them a gift card. You're not going to give them like a refund. You wait to see what they want, and then you allow it. Is what I'm saying.
I got you. Yeah.
Dustin wants to say something. We've lost Nook.
Well, the comment I was going to make was kind of in regards to Nook's comment as far as the whole accountability piece. It's much easier to hold others accountable than it is to hold yourself accountable.
For sure.
I'm guilty of that as well, and something I work with and have been working with, especially here recently. And, I think a lot of people, you got to kind of focus inward a little bit more to hold yourself accountable before you can allow yourself to hold others accountable as well.
Well, I think one of the reasons why people struggle to hold themselves accountable more than holding others accountable, holding yourself accountable, you have to realize and accept you have to accept that you fucked up.
Right.
And that is not a hard thing to do in some cases.
Well, on the positive side too, you don't like to necessarily toot your own horn.
I got that.
Right.
Yeah, but I think a lot of people find it difficult to accept their own losses and accept the fact that when they're wrong as well, sometimes, accept defeat. Well, it wasn't my fault. It was so-and-so's fault. I wasn't wrong. They were wrong.
Yes, but I agree. I do want to say this because I'm watching the view count go up and down real quick. I want to throw this out there is that I don't say this enough so I've shared this to a lot of pages, and one is the Bourbon BS community page. There's over 1,400 members. Mm-hmm. If you're watching this, in the garage included, please share this.
Absolutely.
I just got I was texting some of my buddies. So my buddy Chris, I went to high school with him, everything. He's a pilot for American Airlines.
Yeah.
And so not a cigar smoker, nothing. He just popped up. Mm-hmm. Gave me a shout out. So we got the
Chris Craig.
Yep. So
nice. Yeah, I mean that's how it works. So if you guys haven't shared it yet, do that. I agree with what you're saying. I think that there is a self accountability part of it, right? You don't want to necessarily take blame or feel like you are at fault. I also think that it's really easy to play the victim.
Oh, absolutely.
So once you've been pinpointed that you feel like the victim, and now you're consumed with that aspect of it, and I'm that type of person too. I think everyone in here is in the garage. I think everyone maybe listening out there has played that role in their life at one point. Maybe they're doing it right now. Maybe they don't realize it. But when you have the outside factors, or even someone actually points the finger back at you and says, hey, I'm giving you honest feedback. This is what's going on here. Now all of a sudden there's a role shift in your mind where you are not the whole stop complaining and get focused is that you can't get to that second step because now you're just complaining / feeling, again, going back to feeling like a victim. Now all you want to do is, and I said, I'm this is very personal to me, is that
Same here.
I've struggled with it. So I talk to people about, because I feel like I'm an open book. So the way I'm feeling, I'm going to talk to people about it. And then it's tough to get out of that role.
Yeah.
And so that's where it's the stop complaining, whether it be about other people, whether it be about like feeling like the victim, whatever. Now it's go through that process, going to a restaurant. You want to go on Yelp, that's fine. You want to do that to help other people, that's fine. If you want to do it so you get a refund or whatever it might be that Nate was talking about, you know what I mean? Like where it's like, I just want to make it right and people just bow down to it. Give the feedback. I don't want anything. I'm not looking for a gift card to come back. I'm not looking for my money back. I'm not looking for free drinks. I'm not looking for free food. Don't comp my check. I'm going to pay you for it. I wanted to give honest feedback.
Right.
Because I want you to improve. And if I'm the only person complaining about it, cigar industry, same thing. I had a customer today. We brought on a new line and it's been just banging, right? And it was just absolutely just selling, flying off the shelf. And then I had a customer who had smoked several of those cigars, and I walked outside. He's sitting on the patio, and he kind of looked. Hey, come here. He's like, yeah, it's cracking. It's kind of like like not burning right and all that stuff. It's like, is it smokable? Are you okay? You want another one? He's like, no, I'll smoke through it. I just want to give you feedback in case you hear more about it. I was like, that's the first one from this brand that we have actually had this problem with. He's like, oh, okay.
Outside too.
He's sitting outside. Yeah. But he was that person. He wasn't complaining. He's giving feedback.
Yeah.
So maybe part of this is not just the stop complaining, get focused, but give feedback or take that the feedback towards you, like you were talking about, Dustin, and then now get focused. So it's like, stop complaining, stop feeling like the victim, stop doing this where it's just like you're stuck in the moment, right? Because there are people that will complain and bitch and moan and everything else. Like if they are actually talking about like a business or whatever. We have Shannon in the garage, and it's like, I'm sure he has no complaints. I'm not going to throw you on the bus by anything like that. But say he fucks up a haircut. So Shannon's been on the podcast. He's a barber. There will be a time that he fucks up a haircut. I'm sorry. Like, I mean, you're very good. You're going to
probably
fuck it up.
happen because he's
my point is that
you're human.
You're human. It's going to happen, and you're not
like
going to be able to regrow the hair.
Just like cigars too.
Yeah, I was
a handmade product.
I was in the moving and storage industry for a long time. I was a claims manager for 2.5 years. All I dealt with was the mistakes, and it was like old homes, new furniture, sentimental family heirlooms. I can't make it not happen because it did. Like that drywall is fucked. That dining room table from your great grandma has a scratch on it. But all they want is to make it not happen. And that's how I can be sometimes, is like you focus on the good times. Like, remember that dinner we had at that dining room table that great grandma gave us? It's amazing. It'll never be the same. It won't. It's not going to be the same. Sorry.
Grandma's chairs that we're sitting in.
That's right.
My moving company broke one of my grandma's like little tables.
Yeah.
Snapped the leg right off of it. I had to set. I'm like, they're like my bad. I'm like, that's cool. Grandparents are all dead, but shit happens, man. He's like,
You said that?
Yeah,
you said that.
I did say that. But he's like, no, I can take something off the bill. I'm like, you know what, man? It's fine. I called you guys at last minute. You guys were the only ones I could get. You guys have done a phenomenal job, blah, blah, blah. It happens, man. Whatever.
You could be a super dick and be like, no, that's fine. I'll take that. Yeah. I'll throw the money you're going to give me back into my grandma's inheritance. That's fine.
Yeah.
Well, I remember I had
that was my
It's going to go back to my family estate. Yeah, I'll pass that
actually
down.
happened when I moved out to Grand Rapids.
I was going to pass down the chair that you fucked up. But yeah, no.
I remember I had
$20.
Only remembered these since I was 5.
Stop complaining. Get focused.
No, I had an incident happen years ago where I had taken my car in to get service done on it, and the service tech left a shop towel on the exhaust collectors coming off the motor, and by the time I got home, that towel was on fire and then set the firewall on fire and melted a couple parts on my car, and
Nice.
had to have the car towed back to the shop. And they repaired everything. They gave me my money back. And when I went to pick up the car, I was still pissed that this happened. Like, I hate having car problems. And I was pissed. I was livid that this happened. And I just wanted so badly to yell at somebody. And so they fix everything with my car. And a guy drives my car back up to the door. And he gets at, and the technician gets out of the car, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm the one that left that towel there. Like that was me." And I could have very easily just sat there and yelled at him, but you know what? He already felt bad. He already felt bad that he fucked up. He knew he fucked up.
Yeah.
Me complaining and yelling at him when everything else was already made right. Like, they fixed everything. They gave me my money back. I couldn't get anything more out of it. And he acknowledged that it was his fault, and he took the responsibility. I was like, "Hey, it happens." And I didn't yell at him, and the reason I didn't yell at him is I had that moment pop in. I was like, if I sit there and actually yell and berate this guy, it's not going to fix anything. It's not going to make a difference. It might make me feel better because I got it out.
No,
It may initially, long term, you're right, it won't.
no.
But this guy already feels bad. Me sitting there yelling at him, it's not going to make it better. And so I just bit the bullet on that one. And I actually said, "You know what? Thanks for actually, saying that it was you. I appreciate that you admitted that you made the mistake and you guys took care of it. So we're good.
Yeah.
We're good, because, it's not going to solve anything if I just sit there and tear you down for what you did, because you already know you made a mistake.
Right.
You don't need another person just piling on."
Right. All right.
Daniel?
I'll take that.
So I'm in the
Right.
IT business, and early on I was doing help desk stuff, and I get a call. This lady's telling me that her keyboard's not working anymore. Keys are sticking and whatnot. It's just not working properly. So I go up to check it out, and this thing is covered in makeup, hairspray, crumbs, and just sticking everywhere. And I'm like, first, I need to get my gloves. So
Sounds right.
and instead of like berating her, like Nate said, you just educate. Look, try not to do your makeup around the computer. Try not to eat around the computer. Drink, that kind of stuff. It's just, she's complaining to me that this thing's not working, but it's of her own doing. So
Yeah, so part of that is having that conversation, right? We talk about this a lot on the podcast, is that communication is a big part of it, right? So you could have just not said anything about the makeup, the crumbs, and fake eyelashes falling down in between the keys or whatever it was. Don't do your makeup around your laptop, or just pull your chair back. You know what I mean?
I've been known to do that too, like on the road, like
The makeup,
That's
fake eyelashes. around here.
the fake eyelashes.
When he trims his beard over top of the computer.
That's more my
tends to
thing. Right? Yeah.
no, that just tends to fall off in my coffee when I'm driving.
Oh,
But I
brush
do,
brush it out, man.
based on the customer, like I will tactfully point out kind of like humidor errors and stuff like that, because always complain about the same thing, but then they would complain about other companies too. Man, your cigars just crack so much, this and that, blah blah blah. And I'm like, do you hear that a lot? I'm like, no, actually we don't. And I have one edge in this business, is because I did the retail side for 16
Sure.
years.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I've built stores,
Right.
And I go in there. I'm like, well, your humidor is kind of cold and it's
Yeah.
It's
60 degrees and 56% humidity.
Or the type of
you're
humidifier
rocking
they're
low
using.
stuff here, man. But it's try to use kid gloves with that too. But
Well, there's
Well,
tact. There's tact
yeah.
involved, right? So that is, Stop complaining and get focused. Go ahead, Nate.
I had that happen, similar situation what Nook's talking about. When I was a rep, it was because of one particular account that every time I visited that account wanted to hand me just a bunch of cigars that were damaged, air quotes.
in Michigan.
No, not Michigan.
Oh, surprising.
They always wanted to hand me this giant box of cigars that were damaged and wanted money back. And I'm sitting there looking at their humidification system, and it was one of those humidifiers that is actually pumping out that thick cloud of mist.
Yeah.
And what this particular shop had done is took all the cigars out of cellophane to put their own little sticker on the back of the band. And where that mist was coming out was directly above all those cigars. So literally these cigars are getting rained on. And he's complaining that the cigars, that like the color of the tobacco is bleeding onto the band, or the cigars are starting to warp, and all these other issues with the cigars. And finally, after the second time of hearing him complain about it, I was like, I will bet you that if you move these cigars to another spot in your humidor, you won't have this issue with my cigars. But whatever cigars you do put there, you're going to have an issue with them. I'll bet you on that. But he didn't want to hear it because he thought he was in the right, that we were in the wrong, but he didn't want to take responsibility that he was the one making the mistake.
Yeah. So there's times I think that when you are complaining, right, that you are very possibly in the right. I mean, you have a knowledge base that you things are wrong. You might have more knowledge, or you go to a restaurant or whatever it might be. That's the most common thing, or a haircut thing, right? Like I'm looking at Shannon in the garage, or Sean, works at Amazon, and they get complaints, but it's mostly about the products that they're shipping out, right? But you go to these sources for some of this stuff, and if you can do it yourself, do it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But it is easier just to complain and hope for some free shit. But I really want to turn it around on you, is when you're complaining, what's the goal? What's the goal when you are actually upset? Why are you upset? Do you ever take that moment? Are you upset because it took too long based on what you thought it might take? You upset about the product that comes in, whether it be food, a haircut, whether it be, it didn't, that shirt didn't fit me like I thought it would, and now you're upset. When you lose a job, are you upset about the fact that you didn't have control over it? You thought you were doing a good job and you just can't take feedback? When you have struggles in a relationship, whether it be a marriage, just a relationship, a friendship, whatever, and that person actually comes at you with feedback, and no one likes. I'm of the opinion that no one likes to feel like they're doing a bad job at whatever it might be, especially if you feel like you're giving your all. But even when you're giving your all, whatever the circumstance, business, personal, romantic, you're just, sometimes it's not, the communication is so huge, but you have to be able to allow the other side, or that feedback, the critical feedback, to come in, and then you don't just get offended. You don't get upset about it. You don't, because I feel like that's the whole thing, is that you can complain, but I'm gonna kind of go both sides of this. If you're complaining, what is your goal? Do you want them to change? Do you want the restaurant to change? Do you want the business to change? Do you want the other person to change? Do you want your friend to change? Do you want your boss to change? Or do you just want to fucking bitch and complain?
You know what? But I think a lot of that now, especially with, like starting last year, more times than not now, it's just people wanting to bitch for the sake of
just bitching,
Why?
complaining,
Why?
and like
Why?
there's a couple different reasons. A lot of people now are just bitching to push agendas
Okay.
under certain things, but like going to the restaurant thing, I sat in one of my favorite places to get brunch and have a drink, Grand Rapids Brewing Company.
Yeah.
I'm going to give them a shout out because I like their stuff.
Grand Rapids Brewing Company.
Yeah. It's right downtown, Grand Rapids, right next to, well, they're the guys that own Hopcat and a couple other places downtown.
Okay.
They just reopened. So, but we were working with certain restrictions. At the time, a lot of places downtown had patio seating and stuff. I think this was in
Probably summer.
September when this happened.
Okay.
And September going into October. I'm in there every Saturday, Sunday for brunch, whatever. So at the time, that was when a lot of people were still getting the money not to go back to work.
Right.
So they
It's
didn't,
still happening, by the way. I've talked to
Right.
restaurant. Sean's eating a burrito.
you know,
He literally just
food,
walked out of your house with a burrito.
That's awesome.
So I want to know if you I got to sweep it up so I don't get like ants this spring. You know what I mean?
I'm not going to throw over. Clean up after myself.
All right.
Bill burrito party, like just
We should have. There's so many parties we need to throw. All right, go on.
hey, Dustin, write that down. Burrito party. All right.
Start it with a P though.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Burrito party. We got a theme going on right now.
Burrito.
Hey, this is a good
Pine-
brainstorming.
Pinewood Pool
Burrito.
Burrito.
pierogi.
Pierogi.
Ooh.
It's not Pittsburgh. We're gonna steal from Pittsburgh for the pierogi party.
All right.
So, but the thing was, they didn't have enough people to cover. Like Grand Rapids Brewing Company is a big old building downtown.
Yeah.
So this lady comes in, husband, her son, college age. Yes.
Oh, there's a hashtag now.
Catered with burritos.
I don't know what a
Nice.
burrito is.
Well, you made it up. So, anyhow.
Are there gonna be pinatas here?
Oh, put that down.
Pinata.
Pinatas.
Pinatas.
Phillies. That's what it should be.
So they're and then like the son's girlfriend, college age kids. They walked in and went to the hostess, lady very demanding. We have 5 people and we would like to sit outside. We are here for food and for drinks. I'm like, all right, Karen. So
Don't do that.
so, oh, she was. Had the haircut, the boot too. So,
Bourbon BS podcast does not endorse this statement. Go on. That was,
Thank-
I don't know who
thank-
that was.
thank
That
you.
was
All,
that was-
all
Um,
opinions.
that is,
all opinions shared are shared by the
that
individual.
was a soundbite
That
button
is,
that Nate hits.
this story is supported by
No.
Nook LLC.
Okay, there you go.
So, anyhow, the hostess is like, "Ma'am, we're not doing outside seating today. We just don't have enough staff. You have tables outside. We are going to sit outside, and we want to do flights of beer."
She's on the board of directors at this restaurant.
So, but Grand Rapids is doing outside drinking. You can go to in a certain zones. It's almost like New Orleans. You get a sticker on your glass. You can walk within certain zones
Oh, nice.
and have your drinks.
Like that.
That's a bonus. I can roll out a founder.
Walkabout beverages. I
I
like
can
that.
I can roll out of founders with a drink, and as long as I'm within a certain zone, I'm good to go. So she's like, "Ma'am, we're not offering that right now. We can offer." She gave her every option you could do. You can get your food. We can do a to-go thing. You can get it in a to-go cup. You can go sit out at our outside seating. We just don't have staff. She's like, "Nope. Well, I want that back room right there. They have a big party room." "Ma'am, we don't have enough staff to cover that. It's closed." "Hold on. I know you have room in the back," which
This
they do.
hostess is a saint.
So she walked back. "Well, we're going to go ahead and sit back there because I don't think this is 6 feet."
Did
Ma'am.
she have a tape measure?
It wouldn't surprise me if she would have pulled it out of her purse. The way that she was acting. Finally, the manager comes up. He is awesome. I've known the guy for a little bit now. One of the hostesses is sitting with me. We were dying laughing. It's like, "Ma'am, listen, we've given you all your options. You have many other places in downtown. Like,
giving them every option where to go. Maybe you'd be more comfortable going one block over and go to this place. No, we want to come here. It's like, ma'am,
Do
these
you
are the
though?
options?
Do you?
Blah,
though?
blah, blah. She eventually did take a table, and then craziness ensued after that too. But
Oh, jeez.
it's just like, listen,
You
listen,
saw it coming.
focus, and like, listen, if this is what you really want, you guys really want to be here, partake in their beer, their food, which is their food is amazing, which is unlike a lot of breweries.
Right.
Everything is from scratch. They even make their own sausage patties from scratch.
Love it.
But it's like, yeah, their biscuits and-
Again,
their-
we've talked
their
about this for.
biscuits and gravy are amazing.
Now you're speaking my language.
So-
We've talked about this for a couple years. We need to do a podcast where we come up to
We will.
Holland.
We will.
We will. Well, now we can go to Eastern Kill now too.
There you go.
Yeah, now we
So,
can do Grand Rapids.
Little bit of thing like one of the
Take a
breweries.
tour.
One of the breweries up by me may or may not have just obtained a smoking license too. So
Ooh.
What? I love how Sean's like eating like I have no kids, but like
it's
I have
just
this like peripheral.
It's like
All right,
but,
Dad.
but with all that,
I
with
see
like,
this food dropping. He's like, I'll get it. I'll get it. All right, I'll get it.
with like people like
Here I am live on a podcast. You know, you talking,
Yeah.
listening to Nook out of the corner of my eye. I'm like, God damn it.
I'm
Sean."
not going to throw it all over the place. I'm actually going to eat it. But yet we're wiping up, I think, sour cream and some.
I think there was a piece
Stop
of
it.
corn.
Oh, hey, you know what? Is there?
Oh, yeah, it's gonna be all
wait,
over my fucking floor in
wait,
there.
eat
I don't
over
want.
the
I don't
sink.
want-
Wait,
Eat
is
over the
there?
sink.
Is there?
Hey, why don't you
corn-
go finish that outside there?
Wait, is there corn in there?
Yes.
Continuing with the corn theme. Thank you.
Uh,
Go ahead, Nate.
So,
Oh, go ahead.
it-
Nook.
but you know, it's just like people trying to push other people's agenda. Like, listen,
You think it's
it's
a
just
level
like-
of like entitlement at this point?
it is now. It's like, listen,
because that's how I feel.
if you don't like the rule,
go somewhere else
then go somewhere else or just stay home,
or start your own restaurant, which you're not
Yeah.
going to do.
which you're not going to do. But it was like I give that 19-year-old girl the utmost credit in the world. I tipped very good that day too, because I know it goes to the hostesses too,
Yeah.
because she answered everything. She got bars passed. Then the manager came out, handled it. FYI, like she did wipe down every flight glass, made
Yeah.
the whole team, the whole family wipe it down, and mask up, mask down between each sip, and
Fuck that.
yeah. So, but yeah, but it's been a lot of that. Like I see it everywhere I go. It's just like right now, it's just like pushing agendas and like if you don't like it,
It's walking on
stay,
eggshells too,
like
right?
just
They probably
stay home.
that family actually just probably came back from Florida.
well the husband sat the whole time like this.
He's embarrassed.
I'm pretty sure the girlfriend of the son left him afterwards.
There's a lot of
You would
deeper
like it
issues
that the
here.
girl did have a Cubs face mask on, because I think they went to the University of Illinois because he had the Illini mask. So, but she was rocking the Cubs mask.
I like her already.
She was hot too. Not gonna lie.
I said I like her before you said she's hot. Nate, what do you want to say?
Getting back to what your original question was for this, I think if you're going to complain, it needs to come from the same place as you would a compliment, and that is you're making it a teachable moment.
Okay.
You're not necessarily complaining or complimenting to get something out of it. You're creating a teachable moment for that person. So if you're at a restaurant and things didn't come out the way you wanted to, if you say something, don't have this mindset that you want to berate the person or that you want to get your meal comped or you want to get something out of it. You're saying it as like, hey, this is, I had ordered this, it came out this way, it's cool, I ate it, I'm fine, I got no problem paying for it. But also that's the same mentality you have to have when you're giving compliments. And because when you're giving a compliment, that can have a much greater impact than a complaint can.
Right.
So if
Yeah.
if if the person is if the person did a great job, let them know that they did a great job, because then they're like, oh, here's what I did for them. They said it was great. I can take that, learn from that, and then apply it to the next time. So that way they keep building and growing off of that. So you have to have that same mentality that you're not trying to be positive or negative. You're trying to encourage or make better whatever it was going
Right.
forward. Whether the situation was positive or negative, you're trying to make it become more positive from that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's got to be, there's a purpose there, right? So if you're going to complain, you have to have a purpose, right? If your purpose is only to feed into your misery, then you'll be miserable. If you don't give feedback, and I think that happens a lot when you're complaining, you don't give positive reinforcement when things are going well, like you're talking about, Nate, right? I think that this is something that when it comes back on you, going back to the victim thing, when you get sucked into it's a bit of a quicksand thing where you just get caught in that moment. You're complaining, but you don't want it to get better. You're not looking for, you're not going to be happy with whatever outcome it is. And so on the other side, and I've been that way in business and personal relationships, it's like you can try to fix, you can hear them out, you can be like, all right, this is what you're unhappy with. I'm going to change this. I'll give you this.
Mm-hmm.
They're still unhappy. And a lot of the times I feel like that is because that the other party, whether it be business or personal or romantic, they're in that zone. They have been caught in the quicksand. If you're not in that zone with them, and you shouldn't be, don't get caught in that same quicksand, because what happens is you do, and all of a sudden it's just a consistent failure until it's just gone. Not going back to the restaurant, the job or relationship's done, someone's getting fired, the relationship's gone because someone just never opened themselves up. They're too far gone. They're caught in that quicksand.
True that.
True that. I look at it as that.
We've had a lot of talks about that.
Yeah, if you're going to complain.
But I think it's like, I agree with Nate, but I think now, just going back to what era we're in now, the complainers are out. They're out there just pretty much like, I cut a lot of people a lot of slack. I barely complain. And I understand, like, even like going back to the restaurant thing, a lot of restaurants, I don't know how it is in Ohio, but I know like in Michigan, they're pretty much, they got whoever they could get just to reopen their restaurant.
Yeah.
Stuff happens. I'll give constructive criticism. I'm not going to bitch, whatever. You still get tipped really good because of what time we're living in right now. But most of the stuff that I've seen through all my travels, the people that have been cooped up, that normally just like the bitch period, they are out in full force. And it doesn't help the situation at hand. Like, these people just got their restaurants open. That's their livelihood. They might be on a thin line, except for like the big box places.
No, they are.
Like, of closing down, and you pretty much took anybody. I ran into it in Traverse. The girl that was waiting on me at my Greasy Spoon I went to, second day on the job.
Diner.
I like Greasy Spoon.
I love Greasy Spoon places.
So
Fitzy's in Columbus area.
But the girl said she was on spring break and wanted extra money. So she went to go work at this place. Did a good job. Wasn't the best, but she was cute. But anyways,
physical attraction is still a very, very big
but I did get agitated because I gave her my credit card. She went and sat it on the register and then went and waited on everybody out in the outside tent and came back, and I got kind of pissed. But anyways, I understand.
Still tips her well.
Yeah, I did. But that's because of the food and everybody else that was there too. But anyways, I understand
you already showed your cards, man.
Yeah, but I understand what's going on in like the society and stuff like that. Like, listen, it's hard. They can't get a lot of people. I give you credit for going back to work. Period.
Restaurants are banging right now, by the way. They're
So-
killing it.
But my point was, it's like a lot of the people out now that bitch, they're just out there just to bitch. I've just seen it way too much with all the travel. Like they've been cooped up for so long. They're out there. They're in full effect. They're going to unleash on anything. If you walk to the bathroom and the first 2 feet, you don't have your mask on, some lady might bitch to you just because. Because I've had it happen.
Yeah, I throw
just-
my mask on all the time. Dustin, what do you want to say, man?
So
I want to get back on it.
two points. Nook, to your point, yes, there are many people out there who are just out there to bitch and complain. Working in retail and customer service facing constantly. I can't tell you how many times I've had even just other customers come up to me and say, "Hey, did you see so and so over there? They don't have a mask. You better say something."
Patrolling.
Yeah, patrolling. And at the moment, they walk away. I kind of walk away, and in my head, I'm going, "Do you really have nothing else better to do?"
No, they don't.
No, and absolutely.
Why is
not.
Why?
I feel
Gotta
like
ask.
so.
Why?
In my mind, I feel like it's somewhat of a sense of a superiority complex.
Okay.
To where they feel like they're entitled to police something. They're in charge of something. On the flip side of it, there may be underlying concerns in their own mind that they feel like they need to protect everybody, including themselves. In a sense, I get it to a point. I'll walk up and say something to a customer, but obviously in my role, I'm not given the power to force someone to wear a mask and or force someone to leave if they're not wearing a mask. But on the other point, I feel like there's also those people who, get so upset and angry about something, even if it's something so minuscule. I've come to the understanding that out of all of my years, there also may be an underlying issue or problem or opportunity that's going on in their lives that's outside of the realm of what's actually going on in front of them.
Oh, they got personal shit going on. Weird.
I know, right?
But they said
they've brought in,
what?
and it just so happens that one little minuscule thing.
But they said
is
a
the
lot of
straw
this
that broke the camel's back.
There's broken families in the suburbs.
What?
But a lot of this, they
Who's
said,
not, right?
like the COVID, isolation, self-isolation, blah, blah, has brought everybody's true shit out to roost.
Well, even before
Right now.
Brought
COVID,
it to the surface.
it happens so often, and I see it a lot, especially at work. And so the way that I kind of train some of my associates is to put themselves in their shoes to try to, kind of take a step back to help mediate and mitigate the risk of it all and kind of de-escalate the situation, because you don't know what the other person is going through.
But some of these people,
Brother. Oh, go ahead.
They just go over the top.
No,
yeah,
but
and
what I want to say is that you, in a retail environment, in a grocery store chain, it was a year ago, there was the TP shortage.
Imagine
knew it.
that in the
All right,
stores that
calm
I'm
down.
in.
No, there was no fucking tanker in the middle of whatever channel it's in right now. There's sex toys.
That's gone.
On one, right?
It's gone. It got through.
Right, but everything's delayed. My point is that you should actually be able to be like, now we're in boot camp. I'm going to yell in your fucking face, and I need you to stay calm, and I need you to give the toe of the company line, but you can't even do that.
Nope.
But that's what should be happening right now, is because there are irrational people out there that they are losing their shit still based on this.
There's people that will lose their shit if you look at them wrong, or they feel like you looked at them wrong because all they see is your eyes.
I'm
because
not.
of the
Yeah,
mask.
well, yeah, no, yeah. We all forgot how to smile. I had a customer come in that she's a regular. Nicole.
Mhm.
Yeah, so there's a regular that comes in, and she works in the Easton area, And this has been a long time. This has been about a year or whatever.
Mhm.
And I was working on something or whatever, and she works at other stores. She made a comment to me because I didn't have I had my mask in my back pocket, and I was like plugging in stuff on the computer right there at the register. I was actually entering in some new stuff. She walks in. I'm like, hang on 1 second. I'm gonna throw my mask on. She's like, I not trying to be rude, but I forgot what your face looked like.
Yeah.
But I said this 8-10 months ago where I was like, people are gonna forget how to smile.
Yeah.
There's this whole thing. And I look at that when babies react to their parents and other people, what do? They don't understand English.
Body
They're
language.
babies. But when you smile, what do? They smile.
Yep.
Right? There's this inherent part of it. So there's a very important part of this is that you're absolutely right that
The masks have taken the facial expressions and conversations out of the equation too. So it kind of removes the whole body language aspect to a sense away from that. So it guides the direction of the conversation down different paths that it doesn't necessarily need or is meant to go down either.
all right, so let's get back to it, right? Stop complaining.
Yeah.
Get focused.
Steve, I wanted to ask you a question based off of Dustin.
Love to answer it.
Because so when Dustin brought up his first point, he was saying some people want to complain. You asked him why,
Right.
which is a great question, is to get to the root of it. Like, why are people complaining? And Dustin mentioned a superiority complex and entitlement. And you said, no, and then let Dustin continue. Why do you say no? What do you think?
I think it's
why
a
do
big
you think
entitlement.
people?
There's huge entitlement going on right now. Massive.
I think that people are upset.
Okay.
I think that people are upset about a lot of things, and there's a lot of things that are out of their control. Again, the most vocal people are so there's two sides of it. When it's just normal life before 2020, they think they know what they should expect, and they don't get it. That's that negative feedback. I think there's a lot of people out there, and I've been that person before, is that when things get out of their control, they feel helpless. And now they're upset with their day-to-day, and they project it.
Okay.
I think there's a lot of projection out there that they think they could do better.
It's going to make the best joke, but you killed it.
Like that armchair quarterback that I brought up earlier.
Yeah, the armchair quarterback. There are people out there that just aren't happy, right? They think they are. They things are good, right? They're fine. There's a very light-ish topic. So I was at this brewery out in Hilliard, which is in the Columbus area.
Am I allowed to say the name of it?
Crooked Can.
Crooked Can.
Great place. Don't I'm saying anything wrong about the place. But so I'm sitting there with a friend, and we're out. You know, we're inside for a while, and then we go outside. And once we sit outside, we're sitting there, and I'm watching this family, and they got 4 kids. They're running around. You know, the 4 kids are running around. The mom and dad are having a beer. They're not irresponsible necessarily, but they are just like kind of hanging out. And the one, like you have a newborn that's like 3, right? That's just waddling around. Then you have this other, like this boy that's like probably 6. I'm not good with kids ages. 5, 6 years old. You know, he's fine. He's running around and all that stuff. And there's another one that's like 2, 3 years older. There's another one that's like 2, 3 years older. So now we're at like 10 years old, right? And I'm watching these kids run around on a concrete patio. There's a grass area over there that I thought was for the dogs because they allow dogs there. That's not for dogs. So it's like no poop zone. I'm like, all right. So the kids are over there. I'm like, that's fine. They're over here about 30 yards away. I'm already losing my shit because Because here I am just sitting there and I'm watching these kids over here on my left and watching the parents over here. And all of a sudden it's like, dad's looking for a trash can for something. And like the little baby that's 2-3 years old that's waddling around, she's got this like napkin. She's looking around like, where do I put this? She's honestly looking where to go with this. Following him over here. And then all of a sudden she makes a beeline over the sidewalk, which is also by the road.
Mm-hmm.
And mom's walking over there. I'm like, all right, when do I get up? When do I get up to just scoop up this little baby? It's about to go on traffic. Suburbs, so it's not like high traffic area, but there are cars. It's a street.
It's right off the main road.
Jogs over there. She gets closer and scoops her up. It's fine. Then all of a sudden I look over there and then that 4-year-old and the 7-year-old are jumping on a park bench that they're sitting at with the family. And I'm sitting there. I'm like, sharp edge, concrete underneath that. Like I think they like. I look back and I didn't realize how old I was until that moment where I'm like, I know my parents would be like, I would not listen by any means. Get off. You're gonna crack your skull. You're gonna hurt yourself. Like, just stop jumping on the bench. Stop jumping off it. They were doing the so many monkeys jumping on a bed and all that stuff. Like, it's not a fucking bed. You know what I mean? Like, that's a fucking park bench.
You're gonna get
And
hurt.
there's concrete underneath there.
And then I get hurt, and then they're like,
Yeah, so I
told you
this
you
was
deserve
that 90% of the chance that they were going to be fine, and they were, as far as I know, because I didn't look at the Hilliard News the next day. But I feel like the 90% chance that if something went wrong, that 10% chance that, and I'm sorry, I'm going to go extremes, kid ends up missing. I wanted it to, and I told my friend there, I was like, I want to go over there and I want to talk to this mom who she came over. She like scooped up her baby as the baby came over to our table. I'm sorry, I'm embarrassed and all that stuff. So you're fine, you're fine. And I was like, let me show you the blood on this concrete over at this other table. There wasn't that, but I just want to be like, did you see the blood at the other table? No. Yeah, I know.
Yes. That kind
But
of
when your kid gets kidnapped, or when your kid, like, this is the stories that I watch on the fucking news every fucking day, right? And you are this sweetheart of a woman, loving mother. I don't understand what happened. It's like, it's because your baby beeline to the fucking road 3 times while I'm sitting here drinking a beer, and I'm obsessed with it because you're eating pizza.
So
it's great people watching.
But I also look at it as like I was also like dying, like walking through a creek in my neighborhood, like 9 years old. My mom's like, "Just come back when it gets dark." I'm like, "Yeah, mom, I'm there."
But that's how.
But I did.
I remember.
You know what? But that's how we rolled back then.
I
We'd go
know.
up, we would play. Sorry, Nate. Like we would play like hide and go seek, like
Oh yeah.
like neighborhood shit, like, and wait till the streetlights came on. Like it was like 2 blocks long when I lived on the west side of Michigan.
Mhm.
The blocks were different back then. Like there was a lot of woods and stuff like that, but it was like, go out, it's whatever. Come back when the street lights come on.
That's my point, though. It's like when you stop complaining and get focused. We didn't really get into it a whole lot, but even in that aspect of it is like you only have yourself to blame.
So that kind of happened.
Very true.
I remember last
Right.
summer after Fido's reopened, there was a family of 4 that sat down on one of their patio tables. Parents are sitting there. There are 2 boys who you could tell had just gotten done with Saturday morning soccer because they were still wearing their uniforms and they still had their soccer cleats on. And everyone's leaving me. They still had their soccer cleats on. And the 2 boys are running across the sidewalk and patio. So, like, in between Fido and where the shop is, there's a gate and a pillar. And there's a narrow area where you can squeeze through. And it's a pillar with a brick base. And these kids, like, running over the brick and then running down the sidewalk and then running back over the and just running. These 2 kids running back and forth. And
Please tell me one wiped out.
Yep. So and they're wearing soccer cleats, which
Score.
soccer cleats on concrete,
No.
not the best traction.
Doesn't mix.
Soccer cleats and baseball cleats and football cleats, they're designed for grass and turf, not concrete. And so this one kid is running back onto the patio and his feet just slip out from underneath him. His feet go up in the air and he just lands flat on his ass and immediately starts crying. I start laughing.
I would too.
Because I'm sitting there going,
You get what
But-
you deserve.
but I'm sitting there going, okay, I know you're a kid, but you should by now know, concrete cleats, not a good mix. But then again, I'm looking at the parents and they're just sitting at the table. The two of them talking to each other, not even paying any attention whatsoever to their two boys. They're just running around on the sidewalk. I'm like, if that kid had slipped like 6 feet earlier, he probably would have cracked his head on the brick.
I got choice words about that, kids and
And-
these type of parents, but it's not going to be endorsed by the Bourbon and BS podcast. So
It
I'm
may
going to
be
go
endorsed
ahead.
by someone personally, but maybe not the podcast as a whole.
I'm
but no,
gonna
so-
refrain
so-
from saying what I'm going to say.
But no, I mean, that kid obviously has to take some responsibility because he was horse playing. He got hurt. That's on you, buddy. I don't feel sorry for you whatsoever. But then also the parents, and we've seen this around Easton plenty of times because Easton is an outdoor type mall. Sometimes the kids treat it as a playground. But it was that same thing that, Steve, you were talking about in your story. It's like, get off your ass and do some parenting. Like, actually pay attention to what is going on
Can't do that.
and actually do something. Like, if all of a sudden the kid wipes out on the concrete, don't sit there and start complaining like, oh my gosh, this is not a surface that is, acceptable for kids to be playing on. No, it's not a place for kids to play. And your kids were playing and they got hurt. That's on you. Completely on you. Your fault. Don't want to hear it.
All right, so
can I do something
Go-
real quick?
Go
you
ahead.
can. I was going to go close your remarks,
I just wanted to give a shout out to the cigars we're smoking right now.
bro. Great cigar.
So,
What are you smoking? Steve?
Steve and I right now are smoking
Asylum
the last year's Asylum 8. It's a cigar that we do.
Is this Nicaraguan?
It actually is not.
I didn't think it was, but I thought it was because it was Asylum. I thought it might be.
But so we started that with Asylum 7, so 2 years ago. And on our 7th anniversary, we did kind of like mixing the two different worlds of Asylum.
Yep.
So we started, with the Honduran side, we started doing Medulla Oblongata, all that, Asylum 13 Corojo, Asylum 13 Connecticut. But we started off with the big cigar that really put us on the map was Asylum 13 Nicaraguan, doing our 60s, 70s, and 80s. We sold more 70s and 80s than anybody else in the world.
Yeah.
Like that's what put us on the map and got us into stores. So with that one, Christian and Tom picked the Asylum 7 was a Nicaraguan wrapper and choice Honduran filler and binder. This one is when we came out with Asylum 8. This one is all Honduran. Won't say what's in it, but so
So
we
there's some
it's
Corojo.
so
There's,
but that
there's got to be some
This is
Corojo.
what
oh
the-
yeah
the-
oh absolutely.
I'm
So-
smoking what the Devil's Night. Is that what this is?
Yeah. So with that, and it's weird though, like, so with us switching the blends on it and actually getting out what was kind of the makeup on the 7 and the 8, you had very, very split camps. Like a lot of people that sat on the 8 started smoking them. I love the 8. All right. Then I finally tell them, all right, well, that one's all Honduran. Well, what I really love the 7 because it was something unique from us.
Yeah.
So that was Christian finally putting a Nicaraguan wrapper and doing like Corojo filler and binders.
Yeah.
Which was very different. So with the 9, I'm not sure yet. That one's going to come out probably late September, October. Not sure what the makeup of that's going to be, but it's going to be different. So every year, this cigar will change. That's the one that comes in a nice dress box with the
Derby.
coffin.
Pinewood Derby.
Pinewood Derby.
Can we add that to that?
You heard it here. It's already on the board. The Pinewood Derby party. We're making it.
Yes.
Pinewood.
Yes.
Pinewood pool
you know
party.
What? Like, I almost want to do like a championship belt. Like, you can buy those for like fantasy football and this and that. Like, I want to do like the Tinderbox Easton.
Pinewood pool party.
No, the
Pinewood Derby for the 10 event.
Asylum Pinewood Derby.
We're doing it.
Coffin Championship. Like,
I'm keeping this. I'm gonna get a Pinewood Derby kit.
you know what? And the thing is, like, listen,
I need a Dremel
Whoever-
and maybe some drill
dude,
bits.
whoever wins, like, you get the belt, and then like we'll have the championship match. Let's say at every 10 event.
From everywhere. International.
International.
You also have to buy a ticket. And,
Yeah.
You know,
Like, yeah,
get cigars
to get
and,
in,
you know, contribute.
listen,
Yeah.
the top 5, 10, you come down. We're doing the grudge match. It's like almost like the Royal Rumble.
So the Arnold comes to Columbus normally. Like this
Yeah.
is going to be like rivaling the.
We're
the-
gonna do
the
the
Arnold.
Pinewood. Listen, Tom already stated he wanted to do the bring your own pool party. But
Jesus Christ.
but Nate is
Gotta run it by
So-
my
so-
homeowners association.
So I'm smoking the
Nate has smoked the 8 before, but so I
Yeah.
wanted to give him something different.
yeah, so I'm smoking the Asylum Devil's Night, which I had
Mm-hmm.
not seen before. And as I was smoking it,
Never even heard of it.
neither had I.
Thanks. Nick.
While Steve or Dustin were talking, I
kind of a
I leaned over to Nook and I was like,
Pardon me.
is this Corojo? And Nook's like, yep, it is. I'm like, yep, tasted like Christian's Corojo tobacco in there.
So it started off like, I don't know, like it was almost 6 years ago in Detroit. We did a private label for an account, and we did 2 sizes at first. We did this whole charity thing where every cigar we sold, we gave $1 to the Detroit Fire Department.
All right. So
Nice.
Because
real quick.
Yeah.
I am dying to do a charity episode.
Okay.
When Tom comes on, next time you're on,
Mhm.
if we don't do it earlier, I want to get like a charity episode and giving back.
Could we possibly link it with the one bourbon charity that we had remote that one
We
day?
can, yeah, but I'm just yes.
We do a lot of
I know you guys
give
do,
back.
and Nate's got a great idea, but I'm like, we need to do it.
Yeah, because we
I don't have the funds to do it, and so that's where like
Let
we're
me
not
know
big
what you-
enough.
let
Like
me
we
know
want
what
to do it,
you-
yeah.
Yeah,
you know what
and-
you want to
and-
do, and
in February we had that
We'll do
gentleman
that.
from Bourbon Charity on, and the podcast decided to donate some money, and then also we had some live studio audience that donated, and then we also had some remote people that donated money to buy tickets for this bourbon charity, and
In that,
for a chance to
Just one episode where we was like just dabbling with it. It wasn't much, but it's a few $100s.
yeah, between the podcast and the people that were live in the studio, I think we did $120, and then we had a handful of listeners.
About $500+ that went through that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That was cool. That was awesome.
All right, so
but yeah, that was a cigar that was like 5 years old. We defuncted the private label in Detroit
Mike,
for a couple different reasons. And we did we made the elusive third size, which was the 54x6. Never made it out to that account. And last October we released it. We did 2 Halloween events last October, and we brought it out to 2 accounts in my territory.
Good smoke.
So we were sitting on that for almost 6 years.
It's a good smoke. Then again, as I said before, like I've never had a cigar from you guys that has not been a good cigar.
So
except for this
And
one.
no, I know.
Yeah, the rep told me that you didn't like the 8.
Did not say that. I did not say that. He is lying.
That's what I heard.
That is
I
a
was
good cigar.
I was paraphrasing.
All right, so
All right, Steve, go ahead.
No. I feel like this was a topic that we danced around. We never got to, right? So I'm interested to see what your closing remarks are. Stop complaining and get focused. I'm going to give a little bit of a dash of my take, and then I'll close it out after you guys talk about it. But complaining doesn't really do a whole lot until you actually have purpose behind it. And we've talked about this a lot over the last 3 years on this podcast, is that you got to have a purpose behind it. You have to have an end goal. A lot of angry people out there. Doesn't matter. We talk about restaurants a lot because we can relate to that. You talk about bars. You talk about like customer service. But when you look at like society as a whole, if all you do is complain about it and you don't do shit about it, you're not like getting off your ass, it doesn't mean anything. It means something to a point that you are vocalizing that point. But if you want to take it to another level and you're actually like, all right, this is how you can make a change with me, right? If shit happens to you on a personal level, and all you do is complain about it, and you complain about it, and then all of a sudden it's like you have this. So a job ends, right? So now you're unemployed, and you say, hey, I should get this. I should get a job that is equivalent. They're not out there. You lose your home. I had a house. What do you have now? All you do is talk about the house you used to have. You have a romantic relationship. You're like, yeah, no, it was good.
Living in the past.
Living in the past. So that's the whole thing, is
There's
that
a lot
that
of that
victim.
right now.
That's my point. It's just there's a victim mentality, is that you might be a victim, but it's how you respond to it. And everyone's allowed no amount of time to grow, heal, and all that stuff. But at a certain point, it's like, if you can't get back to or grow, not get back to, sorry, if you can't be a new person or your original person, because when shit is going wrong, you lose yourself, and that's when you complain. You're unhappy. You're projecting. You leave that Yelp review. You talk to your friends about the fact that things aren't the same as they used to be. But you get focused. And life's not over. I am a firm believer that sometimes you have to drive yourself. You also have to lean on some people that are around you. But when it comes down to it, that you have to start small. And by starting small, that is a strong base for a bigger circle. And when things are going well, you lose yourself because you lose that focus. And we all know people that are out there that when they're doing well, you lean on them a little bit, but it's because things are going well. But it's not about the character. It's not about the, like, what would you do if you were in my position? I think you have to be aggressive. You have to put yourself first. And you have to surround yourself with good people. And when they're cheerleaders, you have to always decipher through that. If they're cheerleaders because, like, oh, you're good, and like, no, I'm not. Welcome back, Nook. When I say stop complaining and get focused, is my biggest part of that is stop complaining. Doesn't do any good. Communication is very key, but stop complaining. Complaining, in my opinion, complaining is quicksand.
We've talked about that example quite a bit lately.
It's very common.
Mm-hmm.
It's
So I'll put that into the open discussion of closing remarks. But Nate, please.
So when we were talking about this, one of the phrases that popped in my head that I've heard before is you can either have a victim mentality or a victor mentality. And
I introduced victim. I love the victor.
exactly. So the victim is you always feel like you've been wronged. The victor mentality is you're always looking, how can I overcome a situation? How can I win in a situation? Not necessarily, and when I say win in a situation, I don't mean like how we've been talking about how some people complain in order to get something out of it. Like,
How do you get out of the victim mentality?
it's a mindset. Like, I mean,
hard nowadays.
if all you look at, if all you think is negative, then all you're going to see is negative. You're not going to see the positive in things. I kind of relate that, overcoming that to, I know sometimes they talk about in business, especially in managerial roles, the compliment sandwich.
It's called a shit sandwich.
I always heard it the other way around. Like,
Yeah.
No, it's a
so
shit
I was here in your career, not saying bad, but like I was the one
Well-
giving the shit sandwich, and you were getting the shit sandwich.
okay, so
So
two
you were getting the complimentary
Steve's
sandwich.
ate the
So-
shit sandwich.
so two different
I
sandwiches.
have.
So two different sandwiches.
So
Like-
nice.
Same sandwich.
Like, you can start out saying something negative, then say something positive, and then end with a negative.
Terrible.
that would be
terrible
the-
management.
That would be the shit sandwich because there's shit on both ends.
No. Shit sandwiches. It's all about the carbs, man.
no.
It's all about the carbs every time. It's always about the carbs.
Have you ever
But
seen
the
the movie
way-
Waiting,
But the way
Waiting's good. Yeah.
where they gave themselves like those sandwiches where they drop it back here?
What I'm saying is the shit sandwiches is we have, so to be on the same page,
Mhm.
shit sandwiches, positive, constructive,
that's a good way to say it.
and positive. You walk out of my office,
You start on a positive, you end on a positive.
hey, yeah, that's a shit sandwich.
Okay.
The
That-
meat
that's-
is shit.
That's kind of where I was getting at, because there's a very different outcome, I believe, between whether or not the bread is positive or the bread is the negative. If you start with a negative, then throw a compliment in there, and then end on the negative,
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are going to, a lot of people that are receiving that are going to focus on the negative because that's
Right,
what you ended
Right,
with.
right.
But if you start with a positive, that person's going to be drawn in to that conversation. Then you can have the constructive part. And then if you end on a positive, they take the positive away.
I get it.
And another way I'd heard is when you were doing your prelude to the closing remarks was grow and overcome.
Yeah.
So if there is a negative, instead of just complaining about whatever that negative is, you can overcome that negative, and that's going to cause you to grow as a person. And I think if when those negative situations come up, if you still look for a positive in the situation, then any situation that comes along after that, you're still going to try to find the positive. Because if you have that type of mentality, you're always going to try to find a positive in that situation. and you're going to focus on what that positive is rather than focusing on what the negative, because whatever you focus on, that's what's going to stay with you after that situation has ended. So like if you go out to a restaurant and you have a bad experience and all you focus on is the negative side of that experience, and you complaining or berating the staff or whatever, if that's all that you focus on, like when you go home after that meal, like you're still going to be fired up. You're still going to be pissed off. You're still going to be angry because things didn't go your way. But on the flip side, if you sit there and go, you know what, that may have been, not what I wanted or not how I wanted it to go, but here's what I did like. Here's what did go well. Then you're focusing on that positive aspect of it. And that can have a huge impact on your mentality, not only for that situation, but on situations to come. So I think it all depends on what you choose to focus on. Do you want to focus on the positive or do you want to focus on the negative?
Yeah.
And it's not always the easiest thing, especially, as we talked about in that episode, what the fuck is your problem? It's not always easy to focus on the non-Yelp culture. We tend to, once that negative happens, we focus on that and we just let it burn inside of us, even though when you really boil it down and think about it, it's like, well, what could you have done that would have changed the situation? Like how you handled it is all that could have changed. You couldn't change how the other party handled the situation or how other things took place in that. So you could only control what was within your realm to control. So instead of focusing on what the other side did wrong, focus on like what they did right, and focus on the positive aspects of that. Because that can have like I said, that can have just a greater impact and a greater positive influence going forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, right there.
Trying to send this to Nook to send to Tom.
Okay.
Send me something.
I'm trying, man.
So, you know what? I'm gonna chime
Get on the mic.
It's your closing remarks. You're
All
up.
right, man. I'm gonna chime in here. Like I was, like one of my stories that I told earlier, kind of went along with what Steve was saying, like with the whole quicksand thing here is, and the whole topic. I'm just gonna chime into what's been happening like for the past year, because it's totally changed the dynamic of, honestly, like everything. The way we go out, like the way, like I go to the grocery store, the way I go out to a restaurant, and it's different from every state that I go to too. But like with the whole Steve's comment, like on quicksand stuff, like the story that I told about Grand Rapids Brewing Company, like that lady with her agenda when she left the house, you can tell that she does not leave the house. She was a complainer to begin with.
Mm.
Like me working in retail for 16 years, I knew a complainer when they walked through the door.
Same person.
Like but she was amped. She got to go out. The city that we live in gave her a venue that she could go out and maybe be comfortable, like with her whole politics and whatever. I'm not going to get into that, but it did come into play that day, but just kept digging her hole, sinking. And the people that were out there willing to work, like getting out there, like gave her everything. They focused. They wanted to get their job done. They were there. They're not taking the handout. Like they were there. They wanted to work.
Yeah.
And they put up with so much stuff. But I love the thing that Steve said about the quicksand thing, because that lady that came out to complain, like we've been talking about people complaining and bitching the whole time, that lady sunk in her quicksand when the people there that were there to work combated every single thing that she had to say. And after 15 minutes, that was legit 15 to 20 minutes, this bullshit went on. As I sipped on my Bloody Mary and ate my biscuits and gravy.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Anyways, they pretty much handed her a stick, pulled her out of the quicksand, put her in a table. She sunk later on at the table. But the thing was, the team focused up. She wasn't focused. She came there with an agenda
Complaining.
to bitch.
Complaining.
Yeah, because you know what? She's been cooped up for so long. I'm going to go out there. I need to get my shine on.
Yeah.
That's what. And the thing is, like, talking, like, we've glanced over a whole lot of stuff, and a lot of the stuff seemed like the references were pre-March of last year. Like, it's a whole different animal out there right now.
Right.
And a lot of people are adapting, but the people that are the people that don't focus and only have one agenda in their mind, this is their time to shine right now. And it's mostly in a negative attribute.
Yeah.
And like with me being out there traveling, I see it on so many different levels. And it's crazy. I try to overcompensate when I'm out to make up for the people that do give, like, they're out there. Listen, I'm not going to say that name, but the lady that comes out there that wants to flex her bad attitude because she's been cooped up for so long.
Yeah.
And she just can't wait to get out there and do it.
Yeah.
I will make up for her. So, you know what? The people that are out there working and trying to bring this economy moving forward, they are focused. Though that's the focus group right now.
Mm.
They've cut the bullshit. We're going to focus as a nation, and we're going to get this shit going again.
I think you're
So-
talking about two different types of focus.
No, but you know what? I'm going to take Steve's thing and I'm going to run with the stuff that I've actually seen. And I'm going to say, listen,
You're both right.
put up or shut up. Like, these people are focused. I want to get back to work. I want to do something. They're focused.
So there's a part of I haven't introduced this to the podcast or any of my posts. I've talked to people in the gym. I've talked to some people.
Steve's whey protein coming out.
Yeah, I need
Private
some,
label.
I need some capital backers.
Oh, that's not it.
What's that?
That's not it.
I don't have it.
All right. Okay.
So there was I was doing an exercise, right? And
I don't know why they made me laugh.
I have I didn't realize this. We talk about this whole thing is stop complaining and get focused. Posture.
It's a huge thing
Posture. Nate gets
on your whole
Litting
demeanor
up.
and everything.
yeah. Nook is like what? Posture. It's always been a big thing. How you hold yourself. This last year and a half, whatever it is, no matter what it is, when you're having this personal relationship, business relationship, romantic, how do you hold yourself? When you look in the mirror, Are your shoulders in? Your head down? How do you look at yourself?
This year's been hugely different.
How do you look at yourself, Nook?
This past year,
You stand up straight?
you know what? This past year, for a little bit,
You
I
felt
was
beat up.
Beat up on the relationship level, too.
Yep.
Which had a big thing to do with it. And just getting beat down with work, with our industry. Took me a long time to stand up straight.
Yes.
As soon as I hit the road,
Yes.
going out,
Yes.
I came here to Columbus and we had fun. Like, I was out, they're like, dude, Nook, god damn, it's fucking good to see a rep out here, and fuck, we're gonna hang out. Like, it made so much of a difference, because I was, well, you alluded to it earlier on when you said, well, if you would have got that a couple months earlier, that shit would have been gone, because I know you, because you've called me during like the whole
Yeah.
And the thing is, too,
Your head was down.
no, like, no,
Your
seriously,
head was
like,
down.
no, Steve and I talked during quarantine. I talked to all my customers during quarantine, and we we drank and we talked, and
Yeah.
but the thing was, it was a very hunched over, like, humbling, like, it was bad. I've never felt that way in my life before.
That sucks.
But you got back out there,
Yeah.
and you got back to some normalcy, which all of a sudden it was just like it flipped a switch, and I'm like, fuck yeah, I can do this again.
I think your
Point being, go ahead, Nate.
I think
I love
Nook,
my closing remarks.
I think Nook's bringing up a good point, though, that whether your attitude is positive or negative, it can be infectious.
Stand up. Stand tall.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It can,
It's not. There are things that are always going to be out of your control. Stand tall. Be yourself. Learn yourself. Nate, you've been a part of it. You've built me back up. I built you up before that,
mm-hmm.
and I hope to do that going forward. And what I like about this is that we do this podcast, and there's not many people listening in late in the podcast. But what I love about this is the reason we do this is because we get to this point, right? So there's this point where when I look back at this is stop complaining and get focused.
There's don't stop believing.
Oh gosh. Don't bring up the journey. Someone else already referenced Michael Jackson, Man in the Mirror.
All right, so here's my thing to you guys as my closing remarks is if you feel sorry for yourself, what's it going to do? Not a goddamn thing.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, two things.
Go ahead.
Jack and shit.
Jack shit. So what I'm saying is that, but you when shit comes to you and it's out of your control, you got a moment to heal, and that moment can be a week, 4 months, a year. Feel it, but you got to get back to it. You gotta get focused, and I'm excited about this because it's not about being cold to any of those things. Any of those people that you actually care about. Start a podcast about whatever you're interested in and incorporate this shit. The last hour and a half has been nothing about cigars and whiskeys other than like little dabbling. But we have these guys that come in here in the garage. This is their outlet. We have people that listen in because, and it's not male or female or any of the other genders. It's It's people talking about people. So when we come up with this life topic, singing in the mic.
Keep going, Steve.
Just a little bit longer. We talking about people then.
If everyone heard that,
Wait,
what I'm gonna say is I'm gonna do.
what
the side of
movie?
it.
What movie did they do that in too?
Close your marks.
They-
If you feel sorry for yourself, stop.
They did that in a movie too. So
If you feel sorry about yourself, stop. I gotta be honest. I felt sorry about myself for a while there. I've done that recently. I've done it in the past. What I'm saying is as Nook sings the song in the background,
that was Step Brothers. I just remembered.
it's fine.
Crystal Gale sang that song.
Get focused is. We derailed so much this tonight.
You know what though? You love when I'm on the podcast.
Every time. Because I enjoy this. Find your outlet. God damn it. Enjoy it. We only have a finite time on this earth. If you're only looking for the next best thing, or if you think that you had it best in the past, that doesn't help anything. Enjoy yourself. Have a good time. Smoke a cigar. If you have a critique about smoking cigars, realize that it is this.
The thing is, I'm gonna throw one little thing out here, and once I get in charge of the speaker, my man knows out there right now what I'm talking about. I want to play a song
What song?
once we leave here. But once you just said your comment, like I remember a quote from a song live version.
Always a liar.
There's no guaranteed about tomorrow. Fuck tomorrow.
What's the song so they can listen to it?
Oh, dude, Steve, you just ruined my moment.
You threw me
I
off
do
kind
that.
of the bus.
I do that.
There's no guaranteed about tomorrow. Fuck tomorrow. All we have is to live right here, right now.
Yeah. And if it's not going your way, build it up. Let's go.
So,
Man.
goddamn. Well, I want to thank Steve for putting this all on tonight. I'm gonna grab the mic right now. Like
after
it
it.
was awesome to come out here tonight. I took a little vacation at the beginning of this week. Went up to Traverse City. I just needed to decompress because
It's important.
of all this stuff going on. I've been in a bad place, and I
Bro.
just headspace was not good. I want to go up to my happy place and just kind of decompress, walk around a bay, look at the water,
Yeah.
and customers don't stop calling, but you know, fuck it, whatever is what it is. And I just needed to reflect for a little bit because when we hit the ground running last year, I know with our company in June, and like dealing, like I was on the ground level when the 10 event got canceled. Steve called me first. He's like, listen, dude, you've been out here. Like I was on the podcast that week, and all that stuff was very, very real to me. In this, like watching everything in real time, this really took a toll on me, man. And just watching our industry as a whole, like the way that it fell down. Like my boss, Christian Eiroa, like sent us a group text and stuff like that. He's like, you know, this year, like on this date, took a mark where our industry almost like stood still. And I could trace it back. And I'm sorry that I'm gonna like filibuster here for a little bit, but it
Go after it.
you know what? But it was big, like for our industry too, man. Like I saw a lot of our guys, and I've talked to a lot of them since then. Like
we were out a couple weeks ago doing a group event. Josh Bentley, with Altadis, Lee from Oliva,
Yeah.
Tim from Perdomo, and did I miss anybody? I don't remember who else was out there.
There's multiple
Anyway,
people.
but Ed did his thing, and like we were talking about all that, and like how crazy it was like last year at that time, and the guys that stayed back, like, and we tried to pull through, like Steve's like, listen, man, like I remember Steve's phone call. Steve, do you mind me even saying this? I've been actually wanting to tell this story for a while because it almost makes true because it's been
There was
year.
because there was a long Thursday night where I was at Fido at the pub. That's where I did my business that night. And I made multiple phone calls. Nook was the first.
And Steve called me. Like, I swear Steve was like in tears.
Nothing's changed. I
like,
also cried.
Yeah, like Steve was like almost in tears in that. And I'm like,
yourself.
No, but dude, I would have been in tears too, man, because I've been on your side before. And he's like, Nook, I get it. You want to leave? I'm like, dude, fuck you. I'm not leaving. Nook, you can go back. I know you have other. No, we're not going to do the fight. I'm like, dude, fuck you. Whatever you need, I got you.
Yeah.
Stayed extra days, came back, and the guys that all the other companies that came back to the box on that Sunday, rolling out, slinging deals, like doing things. Like it was a lot for our industry that day. Like, because a lot of us, we still talk about that. Like, that was the day that our industry came together and like, listen, these guys do
died, man.
Like, they do a lot for our industry, and this is a big event, dude. We're gonna fucking hold strong, and we're gonna fucking rock this shit out.
Loyalty,
like
man.
during COVID, like we saw a boom. It was like almost a second cigar boom, and yeah, the shit's real, and we're all trying to come out with it. And I'm just gonna speak real from the heart, man. Like, all your favorite cigars, if they're on back order, you don't have them, the shit is real. Like, we're having a roller shortage right now out there.
Yeah.
And listen, just hold tight with your brand, and we're going to make it happen very, very soon. There's a lot of stuff that's going on right now, but hey, we've supported you from day one. We're still going to support you. And all these guys, like, with Steve and all the guys at the store, like, listen, we're here. And listen, the COVID time it's been odd. Like, I'm fortunate to work for a company where the owner of my company, Christian Eiroa, is very transparent with us. I know everything that's going on. I know what's going on at our factories. And listen, it's going to be good soon. We have a lot of good stuff coming up to you. So listen, everybody out there, hey, I just had to filibuster for a little bit, but I just wanted to give a little bit of history, and hey, it's all good, man.
Hey guys, take care of yourselves. That's all I'll say. So when you're complaining about shit, make sure you're taking care of yourself. Because when you get down to it, is you take care of yourself. You complain, you focus. Make sure you're putting that foundation out there. Because I'm tired of people talking about the fact that they don't take care of themselves, and then now they do because they took a COVID test or whatever it might be. But like, just take care of yourself all the time.
I had a fake COVID test.
Yeah.
I had fake papers, baby.
On that note of fake papers, cheers. Happy Whiskey Wednesday, everyone. Thanks for tuning in, staying with us. That's what happens when you have some cigars and whiskey.
Salud.
Salud.
Sancha.
And it's never a dull time when Nook Lachey is on the mic.